VHS files contain spoilers, adult content, and harsh language. Listener discretion is advised.
It's showtime. It's showtime.
So what do you want to do tonight?
What about pizza and movie night?
I want to rent a movie.
Let's get this pizza movie night started.
I want to go to a good video store so I can get a good movie.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the VHS Files Episode 7. How's everyone doing tonight? Jenny?
Great.
Jason?
Things are great here over in the great state of Texas.
Eric?
I'm a spider with a human head.
Alrighty.
He's already let the cat out of the bag.
So we're back with Episode 7. In this episode, we're going to be talking about a bunch of kids that go on an adventure and do a lot of cool things. No, we already talked about the Goonies. That's right.
Ooh. Wow. Already.
I'm so ready for you guys. I'm so ready.
We'd like to thank everyone who's been listening thus far. Like I said, Episode 7, we've gotten quite a few people that have been interacting with us on Facebook and everything. So we're very happy for them to be interacting with us and listening. So everyone who's listened so far, thank you so much. And thank you for helping us with the likes and the subscribes and all that good stuff right now. We're very appreciative.
You guys are awesome.
Thanks, guys.
So tonight we're going to talk one of Jason's childhood favorites, a little movie by the name of The Monster Squad.
You know who to call when you have ghosts. But who do you call when you have monsters?
We're the Monster Squad. What's a squad? It's like Miami Vice, I think.
They're young and inexperienced.
Naughty virgins.
They're a bit disorganized.
Monsters are not real.
We don't know that, sir.
2,000-year-old dead guys do not get up and walk away by themselves.
But when strange things start happening in town...
There's a monster in my closet.
Ooh, look at that big, scary monster.
What's happening? You wait until a werewolf.
Silver bullet?
They're the only ones ready to do battle.
Something's out there that's killing people. And if it's monsters, nobody's going to do a thing about it but us.
So The Monster Squad was released on August 14th, 1987. Was directed by Fred Decker, written and co-written by, it was written and co-written by Fred Decker and Shane Black, who's made himself quite a career nowadays. And so Fred Decker was coming off the horror classic Night of the Creeps and had some credits with House and House 2. He would go on to direct movies like RoboCop 3 and was uncredited for a couple episodes of Tales from the Crypt and some writing credit on Lethal Weapon 4.
He also helped write the Predator, the newest, Predator, not Predator, but the Predator.
That's right. Yeah.
But I was pretty taken aback to see that Shane Black was a part of this. I'd never really noticed that before.
Yeah, right after Lethal Weapon, and
yep,
yeah, dude. He was also the character Hawkins in Predator with the Governor, and recently Iron Man 3.
He directed Iron Man 3.
Yeah, not too
Nice
bad.
Guys.
Yeah.
Yes, the Nice Guys.
Nice Guys,
Amazing.
great.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's probably atop my favorites of what he's done in the recent year. Monster Squad came in at a budget of $12 million. Came in the box office at a whopping 3.8 box office. It was a flop, guys. First flop we've reviewed so far. But it has gained quite the cult status over the years, and we'll get into that tonight. It was released amongst the likes of movies like Lost Boys, Summer School, Masters of the Universe, which is what I would have been geeking out about whenever this came out, Stakeout, Hamburger Hill, and Dirty Dancing in the Garbage Pail Kids.
I know. I think I would have watched Garbage.
One movie title.
Yeah, Dirty Dancing in the Garbage Pail Kids. We need to get that into the production.
I think I would have rather watched Garbage Pail Kids than the Masters of the Universe. So
really,
dude, we'll get into that another episode. I love He-Man, but the movie was I was bad. It was bad. That's another day, another time.
Another day, another discussion. But I was so hyped for it because I was such a fan of He-Man when I was a kid. So the fact that they were making a movie about it had me jonesing for it. So, but this is another film from 1987, which we've already covered quite a little bit. But we're going to throw it over to Eric and see what he has to say tonight. So here we go, Eric.
We're sending you back in time.
Whoa, this is heavy.
Yes, Josh, we did cover 1987 already with The Lost Boys. So this time I'm going to talk about video games. Jason had mentioned that Final Fantasy came out that year. A ton of classic games came out that year. You have Contra, Double Dragon, Metal Gear, Mega Man, Maniac Mansion. You guys remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Street Fighter, Wizards and Warriors. That's a personal favorite of mine, even though I could never beat it. Blades of Steel, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. You know, I had to wait till my 7th birthday in 1989 to get a Nintendo. And so I played a lot of these from the rental store, which was either that or our local pawn shop. And they were actually right next to each other. So like I could go to the pawn shop, see if there's anything good. If there wasn't, I'd maybe go over to the video store and rent a game for the weekend, that kind of thing. Nice little locally owned video store, which I know we all love. Or, if you're not playing at home, you'd have arcade, go to the arcade, play Shinobi, Twin Cobras, Operation Wolf, or Afterburner. And that
was loved Afterburner.
Afterburner, right? And that was back when you didn't need to earn tickets or for cheap prizes, You went to play for the games,
Oh, yeah.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, pocket full of quarters, man. Pocket full of quarters. All you need.
So definitely an epic year for video games, and a lot of those are still making games. Like they're still money making intellectual properties to this day. So that's pretty awesome.
I'm still waiting for the Contra movie. So
yeah, the Contra movie.
No,
that thing's been in development hell for years.
Exactly.
The arcade stuff has been coming back in a big way. Jenny and I follow a guy on YouTube who's into collecting and whatnot, but he kind of went a little haywire when the small versions of the arcade games came out. What are they called? What was the brand? Do you remember? I don't remember either, but he ended up going on a kick and bought all of them and like filled one of his rooms with them and made it an arcade and stuff. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Jenny and I don't get down on the video games too much. She's into Animal Crossing right now, but that's about the extent of it.
Yeah.
Although I'm fighting the urge for PS whatever that's coming out because the Miles Morales Spider-Man game.
Yeah, PS5.
Oh my gosh, dude.
It's got a Harry Potter game too.
Yeah.
The other Spider-Man game was amazing on PS4, so
I still want to play the Friday the 13th game.
Yeah, I'd like to do that too. And Jenny was looking for a game for a DS or something the other night, and we came across. I didn't know Mortal Kombat was on DS, and I was like, "Whoa,
DS?
Is it DS? See, that's how
Switch.
out of Switch. That's what I was talking about.
Switch.
Yes,
Josh,
I'm still
so
behind.
out of touch. we
Josh
apologize.
Got his Sega Saturn in the back room.
No, not even that new, dude. It's a Super Nintendo in there.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with a Super Nintendo.
And the only thing I'll play is
consoles for sure.
The only thing I'll play is Donkey Kong Country. and I've never beat it. As long as I've played that game and loved it, I've never actually beat the game.
I remember that being pretty hard.
Yeah, it gets tougher the higher up
but I think
in the
I
levels.
did beat it.
Well, a couple of things I wanted to throw in back in time. I found out that this is when Bon Jovi's hit album "Slippery When Wet" was released.
Ooh.
And I don't care if you're. I mean, I'm not a big Bon Jovi fan, but "Living on a Prayer," hell yeah, dude. It's like ultimate '80s. So.
Yeah.
That and the video for Michael Jackson's "Bad" was released in 1987 as well. So, and I think Eric might have mentioned that on the last time. I could be wrong.
I think so.
I did, yes.
So,
yes, I did.
So I'm just going over shit that was already been taken care of.
Hey, it's Michael Jackson. It's okay to mention it twice.
Yeah.
It's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
So we're going to talk Monster Squad now. And the first thing that I made a note of was the TriStar logo that comes up. Because I have such an affinity for those opening logos.
But aren't we going to talk about what this movie means to us from childhood?
Well, we usually do that, but I figured we'd get into it in the conversation with this one. But yeah, let's go around and talk about it. I'll throw it over to Jason first.
I feel some sarcasm coming along. And why'd you? I kind of wanted to hear you guys go at it because I really have a feeling I'm going to be the.
And we've got to settle something. Eric, was this a first time watch for you, or
yes?
You seen
no, I've seen this. Yeah.
Okay,
I saw this as a child. Yeah, and
okay,
yeah. No, I have fond memories of this movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we're going to me first, Monster Squad actually came out just a few days before I turned 10. So I'd been in this great big world for 10 whole years and did not see it in the movie theater. It was one of the movies that Mom was not going to take me to. You know, she wasn't into wanting to watch it. So it was definitely video store rental.
But she was into all the other shit we've talked about.
Yeah, but we didn't go to the theaters. The only one we went to see at the theater was a Beetlejuice, and that was more,
I got
Michael Keaton, man, Mr. Mom. So,
oh.
But this was definitely like checking the rental store every week. Hey, is Monster Squad out yet? Is Monster Squad out? Is Monster Squad? It's coming next week, Jason. We promise it's coming next week. Get it, rent it. I think in a whole weekend, I can't tell you how many times I rented that movie. Watched it during that rental for a first weekend. And I mentioned early on in these podcasts that, Transformers, the movie, was a heavy rental for me. This is probably like number 2 or 3 as far as a kid renting and watching multiple times. And like I said, my mother was a great influence on me in the horror thing, but even her, she got to the point like, really, hand on the face, Monster Squad again. I think I can only watch these guys do this so many times, but
was that after one rental? So I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Well, the one rental,
take a little jab.
Well, the one rental was all weekend. So back then you get it on Friday and then take it back till Sunday or the Monday morning or something like that. But yeah, it was over and over again. But yeah, this is definitely a fond memories. Many of them watching this movie with, my mom and other friends and talking about it and wanting to be a Monster Squad. And I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. And the whole big talk that this whole thing is going to be is I still love this movie a lot more than the Goonies. But that's my opinion. But
it was a bold,
hot take.
Yeah, hot take.
Here's my hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take. Hot take.
Hot take. But that's my opinion. But like I said,
hey, Jason, you know what?
Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Josh is loving his new toy, people. He is loving this thing. But yeah, those are both great movies, but this means more to me because I'm more of a horror movie fan. So the Goonies was great, and then all of a sudden you get Goonies with monsters. That's a horror movie.
Debatable.
And I'm like,
debatable.
It went up. So, but like I said, I'm waiting for you three to totally just, keep running me over with that bus. Running me over.
All right, who wants to go next?
Well, I remember watching it for the same reasons Jason did. You're a kid, you love movies like this from the 80s with, a group of kids getting into trouble, and adding the cool effects work and all the cool monsters. Definitely. I love this movie as a kid. I have memories of renting it for sure. And, the conversation today will be how well it holds up.
Well, I definitely saw this movie as a kid with my parents. We didn't go to the theater to see it. I think it might have been on TV around Halloween, or we rented it. I can't remember.
Same.
But we loved this movie when I was little, and I was telling my mom that this was going to be our next podcast, and she was like, "Oh, I love that one." So,
yay, Jenny's mom. Yes.
Yeah. I also have very fond memories of this movie, and I still really like it. It's not the Goonies to me, but it's definitely one of those, like, 5 or so movies from my childhood that, like, me and my parents kind of liked on the same level, and you would just watch as a family, and older people could enjoy it, and then can enjoy it as a kid.
Yeah, I'm along the same lines as like you as far as everything goes. I saw it probably on cable when I was a kid, And I loved the aspect that it was, it felt like the Goonies with monsters. So as a kid, I can absolutely see the affinity for this and going back to it. Because like Jason said, you just get the Goonies and you throw in the Universal monsters. It makes for a great premise. But like Eric said, I think the discussion tonight will be, does it hold up? But I mean, if we're going off of pure nostalgia, yeah, I mean, it was completely nostalgic for me as well. I watched it a lot once I had heard about it, but let's just go ahead and get into it, shall we?
Let's do it, man.
So I love the opening crawl.
It's really great.
Eric, did you notice the opening crawl with the description of Van Helsing and everything?
Oops. I just dropped my phone. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did. And I had forgotten that there was even this whole intro with Van Helsing and all this business.
Yeah, I kind of did too.
Until this watch. So that kind of took me by surprise.
And what's funny, we just recently watched the Evil Dead remake, and it kind of reminded me of that a little bit.
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
How they just open on this completely random situation that you're not aware what's going on. You kind of get the hang of what's going on as you go through it. But I love the way they do the opening titles and how the titles themselves are just very, brief and just not very exciting as far as the fonts and all that go. But as I like how it pans across.
Yeah, the cemetery.
And then like the coffin opens and you see the hand come out, but the camera doesn't linger on it. It just continues to move through the room. I think
the hand coming out with the spiders and stuff,
yeah,
just sort of crawling out like a spider. So that's a great little detail for sure.
And then, as we're going through the credits, you see that this Stan Winston effects and whatnot going on through this. And then we cut to our shot of the bat on the wall, which turns out to be Dracula. Now, one thing that I thought was funny, and they actually brought this up in the commentary, I watched it with the commentary, is why would Dracula be a bat sleeping on the roof and not sleeping in his coffin?
Yeah.
Maybe he's just he might have been keeping an eye out. Maybe he woke up early, had to take a leak, and then, hey, I'm just going to hang here till sun comes out.
What is his preferred form? Does he,
right.
when he's relaxing at home, he'd rather be a bat than a man?
Yeah.
I guess.
But I mean, this is another example like Lost Boys from a couple weeks ago. Where, you've got the idea of the vampire being in, like bat form or whatever, sleeping upside down. I found that kind of entertaining to see it a couple of times in a couple of movies.
That's a creepy looking bat. Stan Winston did a great job with that.
Yeah.
That bat is, and then you see the hand when you see the wing like fan out, and then you see the hand slowly turning into human form. That's creepy as a kid. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the effects are amazing in this, and obviously they would be being Stan Winston, but I love all this Halloween stuff with the Universal monsters in the it's like a haunted house. Basically, just set an effects guy loose to just make all the coolest stuff he wants in a creepy dungeon. I mean,
the only thing I wish is they would have spent a little bit more money than maybe going to a la Spirit Halloween on the bats hanging from the ceiling as Dracula's standing there. I was like watching it this time. I mean, I noticed it when I was a kid. It's kind of cheesy, but but as an adult watching it, I'm like, man, I could go pick up those at Spirit Halloween this week.
Yeah, those are funny. I actually like those.
Yeah, but it's good. It's fun stuff.
Well, that was a tribute to like the Hammer films.
Yeah.
So, and they mentioned that in the commentary that they wanted to kind of pay tribute to Hammer films with that because it's all just cheapo stuff like that they did. I was kind of surprised at how much the Evil Dead comment was not realizing it now in the moment, but watching the movie, it feels kind of like an Indiana Jones kind of beginning.
Yeah.
Kind of
Van Helsing number coming in, the floors coming, you got the dead bodies coming out.
Yeah.
Very Indiana Jones.
And that kind of starts with, being older and watching this through adult eyes now, that one of the things that kind of bothers me about this movie is it wants to be so many different movies. Mm-hmm. Like I see a lot of Indiana Jones here. We'll get into more of what I see later on, but that's kind of where I started to this watch really start to see what it was that was turning me off about this. It's like,
well, the movie itself is just from the get-go, it's using universal monsters from different movies, right? But so you're already derivative in the sense that your concept is taking these characters that exist already and putting them in your movie.
Yeah. It's almost like a homage type movie.
Yeah, I think there are times in this movie where it almost tells you, like, don't overthink this, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How'd the dog get up here anyway?
They shot an explanation for that, and they had to cut it, because that's one thing I will say about this movie. It is a brisk, very easy 82 minutes. Easy.
Oh yeah, it's like
I love a short movie,
and they move this plot along fast.
Oh yeah, they're flying
super fast.
Well, I was gonna say, since we're still on that first scene there of it all shot, I got a question for everybody, because I know we're all Evil Dead fans. Who did the portal better, this movie or Evil Dead 2? Because that portal looks
absolutely
so much like,
and really that stuff is a little Army of Darkness as well. Just the period stuff with the kind of similar look with the.
Well, at the end of Evil Dead 2, he's flying through the portal through the woods, and it even looks like they're doing the same exact.
You could do probably a fun mashup with like Ash going in the thing and then coming out.
Ash was in Monster Squad.
Yeah, well, we're jumping way ahead now. But instead of Van Helsing coming and giving the thumbs up, it could have been Ash who grabbed hold of Dracula and just waved the chainsaw arm around.
I think I feel a remake coming on.
And as he floats away, he just says, "Groovy."
Hail to the king, baby.
That's right.
Well, really liked, before it even got into like the opening scene, is that at the end of the crawl, it's all this very serious, exposition about what's going to happen, and then the end is they blew it.
Yeah,
and so
Van Helsing
going
sucks
into
at
that
his job.
Scene that it's not going to end well.
Yeah, they're kind of telling you exactly what you're getting into,
and I love that. It just like sums up, the feeling of this movie.
Moving along into nowadays, our time, 1987, whatever it ended up.
Current day, 1987.
We open on the kids in school, which. This is where we get our Goonies stuff, is because I almost feel like these kids were coached to be like the Goonies in a way. Because, I mean, they even looked like them to a sense. That one kid could be like, they could have put Corey Haim in there. He almost looks exactly like Corey Haim.
Well, I think the main kid is a bit, looks like Mikey too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I always,
Sean Astin.
And I always think
a little bit.
I always think that the main kid in this one, I didn't write his name down. Jason probably did.
What? The main kid?
Yeah. It's Andre something.
Andre Gower, but his name was Sean in the movie, which is funny. Like you said, Sean Astin. His name is Sean.
Yeah. The connections run deep. But what I found, I always think that this is young Steven Dorff from Blade. I always think that it's him. And the reason I think that is because young Steven Dorff is in that movie, The Gate.
That's another good movie.
And I'd really like to review that one too, because I kind of hold that one along. Well, we'll get into that later. But so yeah, I mean, but the conversation with the teacher about them drawing the monsters and how Eric
this stuff's good. Like all the stuff with the opening scene with them, I think is good.
And the t-shirt, Jenny, she had to have noticed the t-shirt the kid was wearing before, but last night she acted like it was the first time she'd ever seen it.
Stephen King rules.
Yeah,
King rules.
Stephen King rules, man.
A little on the nose.
Yeah. I like it.
Oh, this kid likes Stephen King. Anyway.
But
you're at the school and you're getting introduced to all of your crew here. And God, the 80s were homophobic.
Super homophobic.
Like we keep saying it, but geez, this was bad. Like in the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Well, the problem is too, we're not getting it from a villain in the movie saying something. These are our leads.
Yeah.
Right away are saying, oh, he's getting homo-ish or whatever. Because the principal put his hand on his shoulder or something. I mean, they are not, it's not good. And then, you get your chunk analog as well.
Yeah. Fat kid.
Yeah.
That's what they call him. They call him Fat Kid.
They call him Fat Kid.
Yeah, Even his that's the thing that gets me about this is even his crew, his group of friends identify him as Fat Kid, which kind of bothered me a little bit.
And then you get the scene where he's being bullied by another kid at school.
EJ.
By the big brother from the Wonder Years.
Yes,
I hated that kid, man.
Dude, he was a freaking ass in the Wonder Years, man.
I know, dude. I hated that son of a bitch.
But then you get your introduction to Rudy, who is the cool kid, and he's cool, but he's also a bully because he turns around and makes EJ eat this candy bar off the ground where it's been smooshed.
Well, he smooshed it.
Well,
so it's his fault.
I don't know.
Well, okay.
This is instant
really
karma, and I don't mind
I don't know. You can't dispel bullying with bullying. It's not eye for an eye out here. That's not how you
but
progress.
In 19
he defends a defenseless kid. So.
Right.
He
he does.
And that's why he's cool, but then he turns around and he becomes what he was fighting.
That was one thing that really drew me to this movie and what kind of connected with me, because I'm a big guy. I've always been a big guy, and I kind of had I was able to connect with Horace, and just
the name is Horace,
and the fact that there was a kid in a movie that was standing up for a kid who was being bullied for whatever reason, that really connected with me. And that's one of the reasons that I fell in love with this movie, was that sort of stuff.
And I like it, but it's another one of those things from the 80s that does not age well.
Yeah.
Because then Horace, the one who's been bullied, goes and bullies Phoebe.
Yeah.
The little adorable girl.
She's so adorable.
She's so cute.
I love her. She's good. I want to go back real quick. I mean, this is all stuff that I want to get into and talk about. And we made a pretty good discussion of this, but I want to talk about the conversation they're having with the principal or whatever in the office. And they're talking about the drawings that they're doing, and they're talking about the teacher.
I want to talk about the opening of the film.
Well,
sorry.
Let's just rewind this. Let's go back.
Can we talk about the Lost Boys?
Yeah.
Start over. Cut.
But they're talking about this teacher that is the cat lady. And I gotta still
she looks like
that is one thing that I love about this. Meow, their interconnectivity they do with, they set something up and then they pay it off. Because
that's great. Yeah.
They talk about that in the office, and then you see her on the way out, and it gets a laugh. And if you don't pay attention, you'll miss something like that. Yeah. As many times as I've seen this movie, I had never noticed that before. So that was one thing that I noticed. There's a lot of little things like that kind of give
we
this
all
movie
did that as kids,
redeeming quality. So
yeah, and we all did that as kids. We had teachers, we gave them nicknames or made fun of them because they were teachers. I mean, we loved some of them, but there was always that one that everybody had a nickname for or something like that.
Originally, Dustin Diamond had a part in this. Screech from Back to the from Back to the Future. No. Listen to me. Saved by
the Bell.
So
yeah, he's awful anyway. So
yeah,
and that's bad things as an adult.
That's honestly the first thing I thought when they said that they had to cut his scene. I was like, oh well, I kind of took it as he was supposed to be the sidekick kid, the kid that kind of looks like Corey Haim. I thought he was supposed to do that role, but I was wrong about that. My research I did was not good, but he did have a shot in the movie that they had to cut.
And speaking of the weird things like that, and I look back at this now, the guy that plays Dracula, did you know that Liam Neeson actually auditioned for that role?
Whoa.
Liam Neeson wanted to play Dracula, and he just said he couldn't do it. And they were going to use him as a stunt double or something, but he ended up not doing it.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty wild.
After you look at him, I don't know if Liam, the guy, I forgot his name, but he was a stage actor and a figure skater. Dude, he does a great Dracula. There in that opening part where you first see Dracula in the old Gothic look. I mean,
Duncan Rager.
It's it's awesome. So that's old school Dracula.
The thing I realized on
no sparkles,
no sparkles, no glitter. The thing I noticed on this watch, and kind of some after watch research stuff, is I for some reason thought these were all licensed Universal
they couldn't
properties,
do
but
that.
they're not. So they're all slightly different.
Yeah.
And they had to play around certain design elements of these. You know, they moved Frankenstein's monsters
bolts to his head
instead of his neck.
Yeah.
And Dracula doesn't have the widow's peak, and some other, little things, the placement of ears on the wolf man and stuff like that. But that blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, they're just like towing the line of these characters.
Well,
it's amazing they were able to use them.
Yeah. And if you're going to have anybody do it, Stan Winston's the man to do it.
Absolutely. He sure is.
Well, I actually pulled some stills for us to talk about as far as the character design goes on these, because honestly, I ended up getting a smaller picture, so can't see much of that one. But I think the Frankenstein makeup on Tom Noonan is great.
Yeah,
I think this looks better than many of the iterations they did in things they were trying to take seriously after this. I love the way he looks in this.
That's probably one of the best looking Frankensteins that in most of the movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's a really great take on the Frankenstein monster.
It looks more natural. It looks like a guy that was reanimated kind of, but it still isn't so disgusting that it's gruesome, because you have to, he's our sloth.
Yeah.
So,
and that's funny. I never realized that was Tom Noonan until I was older.
Me either. Not until this watch, actually.
Oh, I learned years ago, but I always think of Tom Noonan. I'm thinking RoboCop 2, stuff like that. Manhunter, stuff like that. But then I look at it now, and every time I see it, that's all I can see now. I can hear his voice, and I see his face underneath the makeup.
Last Action Hero.
Oh yeah, Last Action Hero.
Mm-hmm.
Josh has never seen Last Action Hero.
Oh,
hit the button, Josh! Hit the button.
What? You haven't seen the movie?
Josh.
He gets to push a button for himself.
Yeah.
Shame yourself.
As big of a Schwarzenegger fan as I was, I still to this day have not seen that movie.
I think you'd enjoy it.
We're going to fix that.
Well, we're going to fix that for sure.
We go to the plane.
Yeah.
That's transporting.
Oh yeah, you had a lot to say
Dracula.
about this.
Okay. And the pilot's got to go check it out because he hears a noise, and they're supposed to be toting dead bodies, so that shouldn't happen. And he meets Dracula. There are windows in the back of this cargo plane. It is daytime. Daytime.
I think it's dusk.
Look.
It's dusk.
It's daytime.
I mean, it's not blaring sunlight.
It is
in there,
not dark. And then the pilot pops the cargo hatch or whatever, and he's floating there in the light. It's like the one thing about vampires. They don't go out in the daytime.
Well, some do, and they sparkle when they do.
But, in general, the rule is sunlight, no. And
I'm gonna chalk this up as dusk. I think
whatever.
I'm going as a dusk. I'm gonna roll in favor of the movie on this one.
Sheep.
I think it was dusk. It was a cloudy day. The sun.
Your opinion, man.
We're gonna have so many Big Lebowski sound bites.
No, that's the only one I've got so far.
So far, Josh is a big Lebowski fan. So, but and then after that, he flies out of the plane, and then all the other coffins or cargo boxes fall out, and then you see the cape. It lands in the tree. It's like there's the clubhouse. The cape is here.
Yeah,
it's like 100 foot away.
Yeah, he lost his cape.
Yeah, and the book is there. The house. But I'm getting a little ahead, but the cape is right there.
The mom said, okay. Here's some more connective tissue to the Goonies here, ladies and gentlemen, that I didn't really realize till last night. Is the mom is the mom from the Goonies?
Yep.
She was the mom in everything. Well, I mean, she's
Mary Ellen Trainor.
She's really attached to Shane Black. She's been in a lot of his movies too.
Yeah.
She was in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, she was the psychiatrist in Lethal Weapon, wasn't she?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
and she was in all kinds of stuff in the 80s. So we're back again with the what would you say, domestic domestic disputes in the household. This was another common theme you would see in 80s movies.
Right. Dad and mom are going to go to a thing. He's married to his job.
Yeah.
Well, it's also kind of like the normalization of divorce.
Yeah.
Right.
I think starts around this time period because you want to see...
And a lot of kids connect with that.
Yeah,
a lot of kids were going through that.
Yeah, you want to see yourself reflected in the characters. So that starts becoming more prevalent.
Yeah. So,
but, I mean, she also stops her son from eating a carrot. So, I mean, the 80s were a weird time because nowadays I don't think anybody would stop their child from eating a vegetable willingly.
Yeah.
That's true.
Jenny,
and then
she even yelled that at the screen when we were watching it. She's like, why would you take a carrot away from me?
That's true. That is odd.
Well, the part I like is before that is when they show the clubhouse, which after the cape, and then little Phoebe goes up. I've always loved that little line when she's like, it says "No girls allowed" right there on the sign, and she says, "Mom says that's prescription. If you don't let me in." I know it's just discrimination, but she says it's prescription.
She's so adorable.
But you still can't come in.
Yeah.
That little girl is awesome. And she's the hero. So
She is the chunk of this movie. Like she is what leads this movie along, and she is great. I just threw up a picture of the treehouse so we could comment on it. That treehouse is pretty damn amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd kill for a treehouse like that now as an adult.
Oh, yes. Tree houses, the envy of my childhood.
So, yeah,
everyone had tree houses in TV shows and movies,
Yes.
and it was always awesome and
Yeah.
huge inside, way larger than you'd ever have.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
God, dude, that's like a couple grand worth of lumber up there.
It's like a sound stage that's a tree house.
It's like an Airbnb up there.
Yeah, it's like that show on one of the living channels or whatever. You know, the treehouse for
show.
adults. They have those now. People actually buy tree houses and rent
like
them as
Costa
Airbnb.
Rica and
Yeah, they were born in the 80s
Belize.
and they watched all these movies and now they have money.
The 80s led us to believe that tree houses were gigantic mansions for children, and that attic bedrooms were the shit.
Man.
Dude, yes.
We'll get to that in Gremlins, but I remember Billy's bedroom in Gremlins was like, whoa. That was what I wanted as a kid.
Yeah.
And I love, we keep talking about all these homages that this movie does, and I love the one about Sean explaining to his dad about Groundhog Day.
Okay, I pulled a clip.
Dude, yeah, play the clip.
Tomorrow night? That'll be too late. The guys will blab the entire plot.
Plot? Did I hear plot? Sean, it is a guy with an axe. Anyway, I thought they killed him in the last one.
They did. And he returns from his grave.
Returns from the grave? Sean, he always returns from the grave. If they blew him up, put his head in a blender, and mailed the rest of the pieces to Norway, he would still return from the grave.
That was part 7.
That totally sounds like me having this conversation with my parents. I know Josh
so
at least
good.
had it too.
Oh, I was cracking up when I heard that last night. I'd forgotten that was in there.
And this is, like you said, they're on Groundhog Day. I think it's part 12 now. And it's so points fun at this time. What, it's 87. What did we have? 6, 7, or 8 Friday the 13th by this point?
I think part 7 would have came out this year. So I'm not. No, I'm sorry, not part 7. Part 6. I don't know.
You've just gone through the whole slasher craze.
Yeah, they just keep, like you said, they killed him with an axe and he come back from the dead and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I relate to this so much. And I know my mom at the time probably had the same conversation with me over and over. Why did you have to go see this one again? I thought he was dead. But
the old days, you could actually avoid the ending of things for a little while. I thought it was funny that he still needed to see it day of.
That's just an
excuse.
excuse.
His friends would. Yeah, it's just an excuse.
But his dad gets a call because of a apparent break-in at a museum, and I pulled a clip for this too that I'm going to try and play here because we get introduced to his partner in this scene, and this dude is hilarious. Like,
no, he's a sarcastic ass. It's funny.
I love it, dude. I love this guy. So
to Stan Shaw, he's been in a few movies from the 80s. And
so let me get this straight. You telling me there was this 2,000-year-old mummy here, right? Yes, sir. But now he's not here. He's gone. Vanished. And you're saying you didn't hear anybody come in here or leave. Is that right? Can you hear me now? Hello?
This guy.
I can hear you fine. So nobody took the money. I would have heard them. Of course he would have. Stupid question. Did you take him? No, sir. Just a shot. That's it. This case is too hard, man. Let's be firemen instead.
I'm glad you're getting major laughs out of this, Rich. The problem is, 2,000-year-old dead guys do not get up and walk away by themselves.
Cue the mummy walking away.
Cue the mummy walking away.
And I absolutely love the look of this mummy.
Yeah.
Like, this is a really good mummy. I love the way that his rags are, situated. There's a part later that I just love about the way they've done this. It's a really good mummy.
Oh, yeah.
The mummy is my favorite.
Great.
Just from a design standpoint, he is the coolest looking. And he looks like a mummy.
I think
a real
like
mummy.
A mummified person.
Like I think this is better than the original Universal design, honestly. Like this would scare me shitless. The original one doesn't really do that to me.
No. But the thing is, but before this, we did skip one part is where the guy goes into the police department hollering that he's a werewolf. Because if you see where he walks away as the mummy, we see the ambulance coming by from what had just previously happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
The guy's in the freaking police station hollering, "I'm a werewolf, shoot me."
And they shoot him.
And that guy
Lock me
is
up.
John Grise is the actor.
Uncle Rico!
Uncle Rico!
Greatest football player ever. But yeah, and they finally do shoot him, and then they throw him in the ambulance, and then it leads up to what we just saw with the mummy walking away and the ambulance driving by.
So I also wanted to talk about Wolfman because, all right, I think this looks really goofy.
Wolfman is probably the weakest of the group.
I do like it though.
His eyes are too far apart, I think. And the teeth aren't pointy enough. I don't know. I have got issues with the way this Wolfman looks.
Yeah. Well, my bigger issue with him is how they build up his torso so much. When he runs around, you can see his proportions are off.
Yeah.
But the look of the mask doesn't bother me so much. But go ahead, Jay.
I think this is some of the better Wolfman looks from around the 80s. Because, you think back before this, we had the Wolfman from Silver Bullet that looked like an overgrown monkey ape looking thing. And it was horrible.
There have been some very bad werewolf designs.
Yes, over the years. But so I was, when I was a kid, I mentioned this before, I love the Wolfman. The Wolfman is right there underneath Michael Myers as far as my favorite horror icons. But this was still a very satisfactory looking Wolfman. Yeah, are there better? You definitely. But as a kid in 1987, that still looked great.
The step-by-step transformation of the Wolfman
later in the movie
was pretty good as well. I think when he's in the
phone booth. Oh, that's great.
Booth,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got a clip of that I want to play when we get to that spot of it.
How does Dracula control them? That vampires, Dracula, they have mind control, but how do they all want to work for him when they could go out and do their own thing?
Well, that's what this movie does not explain at all.
Well, I think
that Cain,
the wolf-headed Cain is controlling the wolf at least.
Yeah, the silver, because it's probably a silver-headed Cain.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Well, this is
the wolf is clearly not cooperating.
Because the cane is very reminiscent of the 1941 Wolfman with Lon Chaney Jr. with the cane.
Yeah,
it's it's that cane looks a lot like that, but I know it wasn't because it can't have the universal crossover. But I could see that. But with Gilman, which in this scene we finally meet Gilman, aka Creature from the Black Lagoon, that is some creepiness.
I love this suit, dude.
Yeah,
it is,
and it's reminiscent of Predator as well. I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
eyes
very
kind of face, like the forehead in particular looks very Predator.
Yeah,
they took the old black and white Creature and really did a great twist on that.
I don't like Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Do you want to get into it now,
or the character?
Both.
So. Story
Jenny's
time.
got opinions.
Here's my hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take. Hot take.
Hot take.
When I was a child, once upon a long ago, I went to an after-school program. But we would take turns, bringing movies. I was going to bring one for after school. I think it was supposed to be Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer. And I packed it in my school bag and I took it. The teacher or whoever gets the TV, VCR combo, you know, it's on that big rig that
the rolling rig
everybody had. TV on top, VCR on bottom, roll it from one location to another.
And if you saw your teacher with that and going between classes, you're like, yes, it's movie day.
Yes, movie day. So she got that all set up, and she asked me for the video, and I go to take it out of the slip cover. And inside the slip cover is not Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer. It is Creature from the Black Lagoon. I told my parents that it was my turn to bring a video. My father said, why don't you take Creature from the Black Lagoon? And I said, I can't take that for after school time. People don't want to see that. They want to see Rainbow Bright. Like, not everybody likes this stuff that you like. We're children. I mean, in whatever child version of that I could convey. But basically I said no. And yet there it was in my bag. And the teacher was like, yes, let's watch it. And to this day, I hate Creature from the Black Lagoon for humiliating me in front of my after-school class.
So your dad hid it in there intentionally? Or nice.
Oh, yes.
Good enough.
Intentional.
So Jenny has a memory like mine. What we were talking about back in the Teen Wolf one, where I accidentally took the wrong movie to class.
That's
right. Yep.
I love the Creature from the Black
Lagoon. It looks great, but
no. That was a movie I remember getting from the library a lot, like because you go and rent movies. It was like a field day when I found out you could rent movies from the library. I lived like 3 blocks from the library, son. I was down there getting movies all the time, but back then all they had was like the classic stuff, like the Universal monsters and whatnot. But I still found some good stuff to watch in there, and that's my memory of Creature from the Black Lagoon.
And I actually have a recent, well, I say recent, it's been years ago. I actually got to meet the man who wore the Gilman suit in the original Creature from the Black Lagoon at a Spooky Empire horror like con down in Orlando. Cool. He was sitting in the corner by this. I can't remember his name. I feel so bad, but he was sitting in the corner. Nobody was over there because I think it was like Night of the Living Dead reunion and a Nightmare on Elm Street. So everybody was doing that. And the guy standing in the corner, and I went over and shook his hand. And he's like, "Well, I appreciate it." And I was just like, "Just let you know, man, you were a great part of my childhood. I mean, even though we didn't see you because you were in the big rubber suit, but love the Creature from the Black, the old black and white movies and the whole Universal thing." That's another thing that brings me back to this movie is that Universal feel of all those black and white movies. And that's what,
did he talk
still better than the Goonies.
Did he talk about how they had to glue him into the suit for like 12 hours a day? Like he literally could not take the suit off.
Yeah, he said it was a pain. It had the suit there, or one of the suits, or partially. It wasn't like all together, like you could wear it. But very just nice gentleman. Talked about it. Like I said, I just felt bad because I mean he was an icon.
Yeah,
and everybody's just catching up on the newer stuff. And he's sitting over in the corner, and so I at least had to go shake his hand.
Yeah, I
didn't even know he was there, but I saw his booth in the corner, so I was like, oh, I got to go say hi. But yeah, Gilman's designing this great, and this is the scene where you get all of them together. And I know the movie, the kids are the Monster Squad, but that's the Monster Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right there, all of them: Dracula, Frankenstein's monster when they finally revive him, Wolfman, Gilman, Mummy. That's the Monster Squad.
Squad goals.
I love. We were talking about the cane. I love how the cane just so happens to have a battery charger in it.
Yeah, it's just jumping off Frankenstein there.
It's a lightning rod, man.
Yep.
It's jumper cables, man.
Yeah, that's what I meant. But we skipped over Pete the dog. We didn't talk about Pete the dog. I love Pete the dog.
Dude, he shows up throughout the whole movie. Pete's awesome.
I love Pete the dog. Just wanted to say that. If you didn't hear me the first 5 times, I love Pete the dog.
Pete the dog.
He might as well be like right there with Phoebe and saving this movie.
He and Eugene, dude. Eugene's cool. You got Phoebe, the little girl, and then you got Eugene, the little boy, dude.
Eugene is worthless in this film.
Yeah,
he does nothing. He's not funny.
No.
No, dude.
Come on.
Come on, man.
Man, rough.
I'm sorry, Eugene. I love the scene when he says there's a monster in my closet.
Dude, that scene is fantastic.
That scene
I'm glad you brought that up.
Is incredible.
Do you know who the dad is in that scene?
Oh my God, I totally forgot about the dad.
He's the guy at the beginning of Die Hard who tells Bruce Willis to make fists with his toes. Yeah, it's the same guy.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But that's a great gag, that closet scene, and Eugene does a fine job in that scene. But otherwise, he's more or less useless.
Well, I love that he writes
for
the
somehow
letter.
Summoning the army.
Yeah, I love that he writes the letter to the army, and he lets Pete,
anybody
lick the envelope.
But that's Pete. Pete licks the envelope. You can't give Eugene credit for Pete.
Eugene is also, like, for the most part in this movie, the strong silent type.
Yeah.
He doesn't react or scream or anything, like, until the very end. And I was just like, this kid is so stoic. Like,
yeah.
And what's funny in real life is he's a Faustino. He's the little brother of the guy that plays Bud in Married with the Children.
oh my gosh. Okay.
That's his little brother. I didn't realize that. And, we did I did my homework, and I was like, oh my God. I saw Faustino and went, wait. Is that Bud's brother? It sure
Bud.
is.
Yeah.
Buddy.
So when the gill man is out of the water, can he breathe air, or is he just like slowly suffocating?
I had the same question.
I think dude, crocodiles and alligators, man. They can be outside the water, they can breathe, and they can go back.
But do they call him gill man because that would suggest he has gills,
which means we'd have to breathe water.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's amphibious, but
an amphibious rodent.
Because he's when they're reviving Frankenstein, as they call him in this movie,
Frank.
He's sort of like gasping,
Yeah.
I think he's just
excited.
acting. I think he's just acting, and he's excited, and he's in a suit or whatever. But
He's
I kept thinking, is he
my buddy Frank is awake, man. We're all hanging out, dude. We're gonna go down and have some shots, play some pool.
Why is the mummy in the closet?
I don't know. I had the same exact question. Me and you have a lot of the same questions here.
There's no reason for it.
And he's the fastest mummy I've ever seen because he gets out the door and out the window and closes the window halfway before they can turn around and get the dad out the door. Like, this is the fastest mummy ever.
You could say, I guess, that he's looking for the book.
Yes,
maybe that's a reach.
Yeah. After that,
Jason jumped on that one, didn't he?
I think they're looking for the book.
They're looking for the book.
We've explained it.
Okay,
that's it.
That's what we're all here for, is figure this out. We got to figure this out, guys.
We're going to figure it out all together. And if somebody else knows, send us an email or a Facebook thing telling us that we're wrong, and please explain it to us.
One thing I wanted to bring up was the dad and the kid watching the movie from the rooftop with the radio in the drive-in and stuff.
Every kid would love that, right?
Yeah,
what a magical movie lover moment.
Yeah,
And
that's, again, like, we're getting back to those things those are the things that stuck with me in this movie. Was maybe not even necessarily the story or the monster. I mean, the monsters look great, but it's those little things that got me.
There's a lot of great moments in this movie, and the stuff between them isn't so great, but they do have some fantastic classic moments. The mummy gag and some others, but I totally agree.
I figured Jenny would bring up something about them sitting on a roof and it's lightning outside.
Oh, I did have a note on that. They're sitting on the roof in a lightning storm.
Yeah, not only that, it looks like they're up on a hill looking over the movie theater, so you're even higher, and they're up on the roof, and the roof's got a good pitch to it.
And I think there was some kind of roof antenna there as well. So
not safe.
I noticed was that, so you're imagining that they're watching the Groundhog Day 12 or whatever, and the kid goes, "Oh wait, this is the best part," but he hasn't seen it yet. Yeah,
that's. I'm going to use the term lazy writing on that one.
Sure.
It's just not thinking about, what's
again,
been written already.
This is really...
It's not important.
We're nitpicking.
Yeah, we're very nitpicking. Like, this really... I have kind of come to terms with the fact that this really is a movie for kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't really go deep into the underbelly of like adult humor too much in this. It does
a little bit.
It does bully humor quite a bit, but not really the only adult stuff that you see underlying is the divorce stuff and the counseling and all of that.
Well, you've got the peeping Tom moment on the sister, and some of the sister stuff gets into that and gets into some more adult themes.
That's really the only reason Rudy wanted to be part of it. He's like, that house is right there. The clubhouse is there. I need to get in there. Because I had that in my notes is, why does a cool junior high kid want to hang out with a bunch of probably intermediate school kids?
Well, yeah, I had that too. I always thought Rudy was so cool because he's like got like the greaser look with the jacket and everything, but he like skids up on a bicycle
with a banana seat, seat bike at that.
Yeah, and he is like a junior high guy hanging out with some sixth graders or fifth or even younger in some of them, Eugene. And
yeah, I mean he's the reject where he currently is, so he's going back,
right?
So he's just as much of an outcast as these kids are. He's just He's being stoic about certain aspects of it and creepy about other aspects.
Did you all know kids like that? I sure did. Kids that were like older and they'd act like they were just like cool as hell. And you're just like, you're an elementary school kid and you think they're so cool.
Right.
And then you get older and you go, oh, the guy in middle school that hangs out with elementary school kids is not cool.
Yeah.
No, not cool at all. Because when you get to junior high and high school, you don't want to hang out with elementary or junior high.
Right.
It might be your little brother, but then again, you don't even want to hang out with them either. So,
but I love when they get back in the house after the movie and Sean sees the note on the thing that says it's Dracula backwards, but it says about the Van Halen diary. Did you see that?
It's Van Helen.
Van Helen.
Van Helen.
Well, I think they were meaning it to be Van Halen.
Van Halen.
It's not backwards, is it? Is it backwards? I thought it was an anagram.
No, it's an anagram. It's all mixed up.
It's all mixed up, but
all of it's mixed up.
Why wouldn't Dracula just say, "Hi, this is Brian Smith calling"? He has to make an anagram of his own name.
I looked at that twice, and I think it is Dracula backwards.
It is Dracula
Maybe.
No,
backwards.
it's not Dracula because the first word is A.
What's the last letter of Dracula?
Hey, it's late. I'm old. No, it's not backwards. It's not Dracula backwards.
I think you need to look at it again.
It is.
Alucard. It was Alucard.
Hold on. We need a clip, Josh.
I think it is backwards.
Unfortunately, I don't have a clip of that, but I will get it and post it on our Instagram.
So we kind of skipped over getting the diary. His mom gets it for him, and
it's pretty. It's a pretty random, again, talking about the connective tissue is pretty weak here. It just Oh, here's a book for you. Okay, it's the book that we all need right now because Dracula just fell out of a plane, so in a backyard. So
but it's in German,
right?
Yeah. So we go from this to, I don't remember what we're doing between this and when the kids actually get back to the treehouse. But I love how they go from the Frankenstein stuff where I think it's where we're seeing Dracula telling Frankenstein that he needs to go get the diary. And if the kids get in the way to kill him, which is a little brutal, but
he's Dracula.
I did notice that the little lake by the treehouse and the little cutout, as they pan over to it, I was like, holy shit, they're homaging the original Frankenstein here. Where Frankenstein approaches the girl at the water and he throws her in and all that. I never noticed that before.
Oh, no, yeah, dude. Yeah, that's, I don't know how much you guys watched Frankenstein movies. There was even, isn't it the one that is Robert De Niro that played Frankenstein in one of the...
Or no. Yeah,
they have like a scene, but it's the old man, but there's a scene in all those Frankenstein movies where it's always where he comes upon an innocent.
Yeah.
In a sense like that. But the original one was with the little girl and she's throwing flowers into the pond. And so he thinks that pretty flowers, well, she'll float too, but she doesn't, obviously. Yeah. So, I noticed that a long many years ago. But yeah, it's definitely a cool thing because then Phoebe makes a new friend.
Yeah,
it does.
So, and
they're
side
so
note,
cute.
Side note, Josh was right.
Alucard?
Yep. I had it here on my computer. I just went and
You don't get to prove Jason wrong very often, so
take it while you can get it.
But Phoebe's not the only one who makes a new friend, because the diary is in German. They somehow know that their creepy neighbor who they're afraid of is German.
Well, scary German guy.
Scary German guy.
German guy.
So they go to his house to bravely approach him to get him to help with the diary. And he just tortures them with pie.
Yeah, what was it? I forgot what it is. They walk up, says, "How do you say please don't murder us" in German or something?
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
actually says it in German. They're like, "Oh." And then, that's part where he walks up with that
The
cutter.
knife, yeah.
Yeah. You're like, ah.
Yeah. And he's adorable. But he's, reading from the diary. And he says what they need to do to stop evil from taking over the world. And they need a virgin.
A virgin.
They need a virgin. And I just want to point out that they do
They're all
not
virgins.
specify the sex of this virgin, and all these little mofos, ain't getting any. So,
yep,
They are those days. But that's the thing is that men are sinners, so therefore they don't have a clean soul. But a virgin woman is free of sin.
I think that's what we're supposed to assume is it's supposed to be a virgin girl,
which is sexist.
Yes, I understand.
And completely overgeneralizing stereotypical male-female roles.
No,
in society.
Completely agree with you because the entire time I'm thinking any of you fucking kids could read this.
Yep. Yep.
Maybe the old man could too. Shoot, he might be 80-something year old.
Well, no, I love the exchange they have at the end. Where it's like, he's not a virgin. Have you asked him?
Has he ever been dorked?
Right.
Dorked. I love the dorked. Okay, I do have something to mention.
Doesn't hold up.
Clearly something a virgin would say.
Yeah. All right. The one thing I've noted, just watching little things throughout the whole movie, and you know this through the 80s and even on, and Wayne's World brought this up about product placement. Have you noticed that they drink an awfully lot of Pepsi in this movie?
Burger King is prominent in this, and there was something else
Adidas.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, you're
Adidas.
Josh is rocking Adidas tonight.
I'm always rocking a theme with the shows, guys. Something from the movie will be experienced in my something.
Hey,
I don't know where I went with that.
On your person,
on my person, in my surroundings.
But I was just like, man, there's so much Pepsi in this.
Yeah. That white Adidas jacket was so rad.
Oh yeah,
the main kid wears at the end. Oh Lord, I want one of those, bud.
Dude, I even brought up the point where he rocks that when he's in the haunted house. Dude, he's even rocking before I really don't think it really caught on until the late 90s and early 2000s because the whole metal scene. He's rocking urban camo pants.
Yeah, I noticed that,
dude. Horace was ahead of time.
He was rocking those, but shortly before that, he was rocking the one side of the shorts was blue, one side of the shorts was white.
Yeah.
Fred Decker even comments on that in the commentary. He's like, "Look, those are awful shorts."
Yeah, the fashion choices again are not great.
They'll be back in no time, guys. Yeah. Kids will be wearing them in no time.
But but after Phoebe gets her friend, then the rest of the guys finally get to meet Frank.
Well, I do want to comment on when we leave scary German guy and how it's they say, man, you sure know a lot about monsters.
And
I suppose I do, and it shows the concentration camp tattoo on his arm. I thought again, like that's what I started noticing in this movie a lot was that sort of stuff. I'd never really put that together before, and when I was a kid I didn't know what the hell that meant at all.
Nazis were some monsters for sure.
Yeah. Yep. So now is when we get Phoebe and Frank.
Yeah.
And this is adorable.
It's adorable.
She holds his finger.
Yeah.
So cute.
come on, guys, don't be chicken shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, didn't I read somewhere like she kind of didn't want to, because she never did, but her parents were like, yeah, it's okay, go ahead and say it.
She was on the commentary track that I watched, and she brought that up in that scene. She goes, I did not want to say it. I was so scared. I even went to my mom and was like, is this okay? And they're like, yeah, baby, it's fine. But yeah, she's talked about that in the commentary. I thought that was so funny.
She goes, yeah, guys, get over here. He's great. Or no, maybe does she say that? I don't know. Someone says that, but it is funny. And he is
but
great.
But even the music they play when it's Frank and Phoebe.
Yeah.
Dude, man, that's like emotional, touching thing of a little girl making a new best friend.
Right.
Because like you said, the guys were always giving her a problem about hanging out with him. And now she's like, well, my best friend is Frankenstein's monster. So
that's where I want to get in. That's where I want to get into.
Here's my hot take.
Here's my hot take.
Hot take.
We've talked about this movie wanting to be the Goonies. We've talked about it it's copying Indiana Jones, Evil Dead. Okay. This movie is straight up ripping off E.T., guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, this movie is E.T. through and through. Like, Phoebe is Elliot. Frank is E.T. Like, it hits the same beats, man. I really didn't notice that until this movie.
And you got to say bye to Frank at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it tugs at your heartstrings.
Don't say it yet, man. I'm not there yet. Don't say it.
So, but yeah, I noticed that. So like, at this point, I'm even willing to switch it up for like, this is not the Monster Squad is not the Goonies with Universal Monsters. It's E.T. with Universal Monster movies, in my opinion. Now, I mean, because if you
it's
think
all of them,
I mean, E.T. is essentially the same thing. You've got this group of kids going on their adventure with this.
That's true.
Alien.
As well. There's also a group of kids in that movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was
older kids and younger kids,
right? And I was
a lot of the best stuff here is with Frank and
yeah.
And they make you care about him immediately. He sees the mask and he's
that's what I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the thing. Yeah, he's up there, and they give him, this is what you're supposed to look like, or what you can see. It bothers Frank.
Yeah.
That's an emotional moment. The monster is scared of the monster.
And that classic shot of them walking into the sunset.
Yes.
Oh, dude.
And, that is just
It's a great shot too. I mean,
it is.
That could be the poster. I mean, it wouldn't really
probably was.
Wouldn't really explain a whole lot about the movie, but but that's the same. You get that same shot in E.T. when they're trick or treating and walking E.T. out into the forest. So, but yeah, that really hit me hard this time watching it. I was like, holy crap! And Jenny, I don't even think Jenny had caught on to it until I said something, and she was like, oh crap, you're right.
I didn't think of that one either, but it's a good one, Josh. Good. High five for Josh, everybody.
High five, Josh.
High five.
High five. I don't have that sound cue, guys.
But so they're all up in the treehouse, and Sean gives his big impassioned speech that nobody's gonna stop these monsters except them, because the kids once again can fix everything that's wrong.
Which is. I mean, that's going back to Goonies.
Yes.
Yeah. The rallying,
Yep, exactly. And
the fountain scene.
Form the Monster Squad. And everybody's, getting ready to do battle, with the
80s
monsters.
montage.
Yep, it's the montage. You got the song going. We've got steaks being made, silver bullets being made,
and shop
business
class
cards being made.
He's making bullets in shop class.
Because business cards are essential for thwarting the forces of evil.
That was funny, and something I forgot was the business cards.
Well, the one thing
it's just to set up the gag at the end. It's solely just for that.
Well, and then but before that, we get the whole thing where Dracula finds that the amulet is in 666 Shadow, whatever road that they're on.
Right.
But it's like, okay, this amulet was in Transylvania, and then his Van Helsing followers happened to bring it all the way to right there.
Yep.
And bury it behind a wall with crosses and garlic.
Yep.
And the garlic still looks like it was picked yesterday.
Right. Again, like
black garlic. Now.
They're not interested in explaining any of this to you.
No.
I mean, it's meant to be as simple as can be for a younger person's mind.
Just get to the next set piece or whatever. Yeah, basically.
But that's not to say there's not smart stuff in it. I mean, I do like that they lined the place with the crucifixes and the garlic and stuff. And even when watching it this time, I couldn't remember how he obtained the amulet. But I was like, he's not just going to walk in there and grab that, is he? Like, they got all this crap up, and they didn't go that way, thankfully.
I figured he would have got like Wolfman to go in there and get it, or Frank, or somebody.
Yeah,
just one of the other monsters to do it. But the thing I got to point out, all right, we're doing this montage thing. Rudy's doing all the work. Dude, he's making steaks. He's freaking melting down silver to make silver bullets. He's still in the bow and arrow from the archery range. And then you got our main person in the movie, Sean here. Or is it Sean or Patrick? Sean. Making business cards.
Business cards.
Not as important as the others.
Yeah, I'm the boss. I'm going to make business cards.
Well, that's why they made business cards. They had to give one of the other kids something to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is where we get back to Eugene, because Eugene writes a letter to the Army, and the Army fucking shows up, Eric. That's why Eugene is...
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, which is just insane. Like, we'll get there, but...
I'm going to do it. I'm writing the Army tonight. I'm doing it.
Be careful, they might show up.
But, the other kid's job is basically to grill his sister on whether or not she's a virgin. Mm-hmm. And blackmail her
with nude pictures.
With the nude pictures that Rudy took of her.
Frank took that
picture. Frank took that picture.
Frank took that picture.
Oh, that's right.
Dirty old man.
Who set up the camera? So, I mean, who got him developed? You know what's going on. Yeah, total blackmail that doesn't work out quite as a plan.
No, she's a liar.
In the end.
She's a liar.
But that's the part at the end of that montage is all of it with Frank holding the picture.
I love him with the sunglasses on. I love Frank.
And he's holding all the kids. But then I read, like, because in the world of DVD and Blu-ray where we can actually stop, she's not actually naked on the picture.
Well, of course.
And I'm so let down.
Was going frame by frame at some point.
From experience?
Frame by frame. Dude, the VCR tapes wore out. But I know I felt that way when I found out that it wasn't. She's actually not even naked on the picture. And they should. I think they had said that in your commentary, Josh, because I read something about it yesterday that they were talking about. If you pause because of the world of DVD and Blu-ray, you can find out she's not naked.
Well, Frank Decker really makes it clear that they really were making a kids movie for this. I mean, they were throwing in what they could, but there was never any intent to make this like, the bullying is one thing, but it rides a line pretty well, I think.
Yeah, they say virgin and dorking, and they never get too specific with what they're talking about. It could go over a smaller kid's head, probably.
The thing is, I think
went over my head for sure.
I think Phoebe says the worst curse word in the movie when she calls him chicken shit, doesn't she?
No.
I feel like the worst is later with Dracula.
Yeah, I think that whole line is a lot worse.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's a pretty serious moment.
You right.
But after we do the whole montage, I think we go back to Shadowbrook or 666 Shadowbrook Road, whatever it's called, and it's Dracula talking to Wolfman in human form, and he's like giving him drugs, and you can tell like he really doesn't care for humans because he's like doesn't even want to deal with Wolfman in human form. He wants him to be in Wolfman.
Yeah.
Right. And then he goes and we get our first look at the girls who would later become his brides because they killed them all back in the Van Helsing days.
I love what he says to the Wolfman when he's going away. He says, "I'll go have a bite while you change into something more comfortable."
And that's where he gets out, and we come to Josh. Please, you got that scene right?
I'm queuing it up now, sir.
Because that's where me and Eric were talking about that earlier. That change scene when in human form he wants to help out the dad, the police and all them, just to warn that hey, Dracula wants to kill your son.
Yeah,
he tries to help him before the.
Have a nice night. No! Don't hang up. He's gonna kill you.
That transition there is nice. Where the frame of the box crosses over and they use it to switch.
Yeah.
The makeup.
Dude.
I think this transformation is better.
It's good. Yeah.
Let's say again, Eric. Transmission is better than what?
Better than Teen Wolf.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty good. That thing where he spits out the white fluids and
yeah, I agree. I think that's
the
much
face
better
is
than
expanding.
Teen Wolf.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
And then Wolfman skips away.
Yeah,
he skips away.
He starts skipping, and then he goes
really
into a
long
run.
torso and his short legs.
That's what it is.
Because
do I gallop
an
or do I
extra
skip?
like foot high on his shoulders, so he's got these like weird.
I love
shoulders.
Yeah, but I love how he howls when he comes out and all that stuff. I mean, that's.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if he didn't look so goofy, that would be my only downside to this. Is that he kind of just that. I'm not crazy about the way the face looks on the Wolfman on this.
Yeah.
No.
But then we get to the kids going to the house. I forget the name of the house, but this is where
666 Shadowbrook Road.
There you go. This is where we're going to get into one of our newer segments.
You're going to need a bigger quote.
Okay, now we're going to go back to Eugene, my friends, because this is the best fucking line in this movie.
Creature stole my Twinkie.
When that Twinkie falls in the thing and he says that, oh my God, it's the cutest damn thing ever. I love that part of this movie. I think
another product placement, Twinkies.
And you know, and that'll get us into like the taglines and whatnot for this. I love this one. You know who to call when you have ghosts, but who do you call when you have monsters? That's one of the official taglines. And
once again, leaning on another property to
right.
prop yourself up. But yeah.
But we all know the most famous line from this whole movie, and it's coming up.
Oh yeah, I've got a clip of it.
Let's hold. Should we?
Well,
hold
we're on quotes. I don't know if it's.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I've got a couple quotes for this though.
Yeah.
See you later, Band-Aid breath.
Oh, I love that one. That's a good one.
That's another product drop too, right? I mean,
yeah, Band-Aid.
And then Sean says, "If we pull this off, I'm going to shit." Okay.
That's two shits.
Another one that is touching and dipping its toe into some homophobia is "Good luck, butt love."
I didn't catch that one. Where's that
walkie-talkie? I think.
Yeah,
it's very quick.
Oh yeah. Oh,
over the walkie-talkie.
That was something that grated on me in this. They do it at the beginning and then here over the walkie-talkie, but it's the "I know you are, but what am I?"
Oh, the Pee Wee.
Yeah.
Yes.
They said that a lot in the beginning.
Well,
of
they
the
even
movie.
they even do say infinity or something.
Yep.
They go all the way through the whole process of that. But yeah.
But while we're at quotes, Josh, let's have the most famous quote in this whole movie.
We're skipping over a little bit to get to it, but nothing too important. I mean, they get in the house and we see that Dracula's using dynamite to get to the amulet, and then the thing falls on Frankenstein. I think that's a sweet little moment, but I feel like Sean's a little crass isn't the word, but he's just like, man, forget him. He did it for us. Let's go.
Yeah, he's really unappreciative.
Yeah, because they said, dude, because they like fell on the monster, and then he says Frank's not a monster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then, he is like, we got to keep going, man. We got to do this.
But then
Sean's all about that business.
But then you get your classic scene, and I'll cue it up here.
Take him in the north! Take him in the north! He doesn't have north! Do it! Wolfman's got nards! Come on!
Dun, 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 dun.
Wolfman's got nards, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the
a late night writing sesh.
Yeah.
Couldn't quite figure out what eureka! I've got it.
Well, they could never figure out it. I think that they had the whole thing about him earlier in the movie. They talked about, does Wolfman even wear pants? Can he drive a car?
Right.
You know, does he walk around with does he got a wolf dork hanging out? You know, that's why he's got to have his pants on. So we knew we were going to get something to do with Wolfman and his genitalia later.
There's another callback later with Wolfman.
Wolf dork is not. That one, I'm not crazy about the wolf dork.
No.
But I'm skipping ahead to this one, but there's also the one that stuck with me was Rudy when he goes to kill the female vampires, and they're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm in the goddamn club, aren't I?" I thought that was the coolest line ever.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Like, again, Rudy doing all the work.
Yeah.
Even though Phoebe is the.
But do you notice that there are 3 female vampires and he only kills 2 of them?
Yes.
Yeah, remember the other
Where's
one?
the other one?
The other one flew away.
When did you see her fly away?
Exactly.
Oh, you're explaining it.
But she did.
Okay, Jason's got to explain it.
How about we say she got sucked into the portal at the end? She's just off screen. Off screen.
But we get the big battle between.
But that's jumping ahead, right?
The Monster Squad and the Monster Squad in the house.
Where do we?
Yeah, in the house. Yeah,
and we fall to the basement because they escape Dracula and the brides and
this is where the movie. And this is where the movie turned me around because of the whole amulet thing. And Jenny said it as they went in. She's like, "It's a trap."
Yep.
And I love the haunted house vibe again when they're in the hallways and there's someone coming from each side of the hallway. That's just fun. Like all that stuff just feels like a haunted house. It looks great. You know, all the character design stuff, the brides and everything all looks awesome. And
the reason this probably doesn't hold up nowadays, especially for the newer generation that are into whatever they're into now, is, everybody moves slowly. And, nowadays in the movies we've gotten now and the things people are growing up on, zombies run fast. Dracula moves fast. He can do all this stuff. In this, it's still that thing where you have the opportunity to get away. You just have to be faster than he is. And people have gotten so jaded to the new style of everything being so fast and can get you so quickly. It works well in some things. It doesn't work so well in others. But I think that's all part of the charm, and especially a movie like this, is that they're sticking with that kind of stuff. Because Dracula could have killed some of these kids multiple times.
Yeah,
sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he could have just gotten the book initially and been done with it, which he ends up doing. But yeah, that scene also in the house reminded me of Scooby-Doo. Just running from.
They're running away, and they reference, "Hey, haven't you ever read the Hardy Boys? There's always a lever."
I used to read the Hardy Boys, man. I love the Hardy Boys.
Yeah,
I read the Hardy Boys.
Stuff. Heck yeah!
But they get the amulet. Dracula tries to get it from Sean, and this is another one of those things. Fat kid saves the day, but it's like we're supposed to assume that every fat kid has a wrapped up piece of pizza in his pocket,
right?
And
of course, he has food on him.
Yeah, that doesn't sit that well with me nowadays. And
heavy garlic.
And as a kid, it's easy to.
I like garlic on pizza though.
Yeah, me too.
I could never be a vampire. I love garlic so much.
Love garlic. It is smart, but it is cheap to do it the way they did it, and that's the thing that doesn't sit well with me. Is like, there's garlic all over that room. Could Sean have not grabbed a bulb of garlic and stuck it on his face instead of, the fat kid's got pizza in his pocket?
Right.
So,
but that's the thing is, they're fat shaming in a sense, but they're also saying he thought to pull that piece of pizza out that fast and shove it into Dracula's face.
At least he didn't go to take a bite of his pizza and slip and fall and drop.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what Chunk would have done.
We're not fat shaming. Everybody calls him fat kid, but his name is Horace.
Yeah.
I mean, with what's going on, he still had it within him to go, dude, garlic. I have pizza. I probably put extra garlic on it. Let me shove it in Dracula's face. And big scary vampire, and he just reaches up there and shoves it in his face. So I give it a, it's kind of like bad, lazy writing for them to do that and more fat shaming. But I also like the fact
that's the sad part is
he saves it.
That's the sad part is it is clever. It's clever writing.
Yeah.
It's just cheap to do it the way they did it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, we were very lenient with fat shaming and homophobia and all that in the 80s. So,
right. It was definitely wouldn't have turned ahead back then. I don't think.
Right.
No.
We get to our showdown or no. Okay. So we get the kids out of the house and everybody pulls up at the same time. Don't you love how in the 80s movies, like whenever somebody's called in, they all show up right at the right time.
They should go eat pie.
We get the one thing that the Mummy was good for in this movie, and that's dying.
I just love the way he unravels.
It is a great visual gag.
It's an amazing effect. Yeah. It looks great. Like it looks flawless.
Like when it gets up to his torso and the ribs start falling out and stuff. Like it all looks great. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, as good of a mummy as he looks and what they do with him, that's like the only thing he's there for is just for the visual gag, which is kind of sad. But
yeah, I mean, he's there for the closet and for the car, and that's pretty much it.
But yeah, I love the way he unravels and stuff.
He's kind of like Eugene. He's only
listen, damn it,
a couple of moments.
I thought you and Jason were going to be having the arguments, not you and me.
Yeah, and
you leave
Pete
Eugene alone.
Hey, and Pete was helping Pete the dog, dude.
Pete snagged the piece of the mummy so he could shoot it. So
I like how
and without Eugene, Pete would not have been there.
He says, get me some slack or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, and he goes, don't be a wuss. And he goes, okay. All he had to do was challenge his manhood. Is fragile.
Well,
yeah.
Dude, the freaking hearse that Dracula drives.
Oh yeah.
Yes, with
that big chrome skull on the front. I mean, which we see that because the two cops, the dad and the partner, are running out because they got the call in from Wolfman, and he's trying to go save his kids, and then it drives through them.
Yeah.
I do like that sequence.
Dude, that is crazy. Like, we're going to play chicken with Dracula. I mean, as a kid watching it, like, oh, what's going on? And then it goes through and you're like, whoa.
I love it too, but again, why the fuck does Dracula need a car, bro?
He's got to haul around Frank. He's got to haul around the squad, bro.
There you go. He can't.
I'm going to come up with every answer you throw at me.
He can't carry around all these people, all these monsters.
Nobody comes out of this hearse except Dracula. I never see Frank come out of it. Creature can't come out of it because he's got to live in the water. Mummy's walking around town having a grand old fucking time. Werewolf's tied up in Dracula's house. Who the hell is he driving around in this damn car?
But that's
Maybe
the thing.
He picks up the girls with it.
Yeah, he has his brides to carry around. And what it is, if they would have got the damn book, they all could have went to the bar, had some drinks, and thrown some darts.
Yeah.
No wooden stakes, just darts.
I mean, Tony Stark has cars.
Yeah.
He doesn't just fly around in his suit all the time.
Exactly.
Tony Stark is a human being, people. He's not an ancient devil bat creature from Transylvania.
My goodness.
I am serious.
Well, this bat creature.
Josh is wound up tonight. This is a good one.
He's really good at getting information because how the hell does he know that they have a treehouse that he's going to go blow up?
And fuck him for blowing up that treehouse. That treehouse was awesome. Had awesome posters in it.
It's magic, man. He just uses magic. I think. Or maybe he flies around as a bat, or maybe the mummy does recon for him, or any of the other guys do recon for him. There's water comes up right to the base of the tree, so the Gillman could have just been
Gillman could have been there the whole entire time, just keeping tabs on him, waiting for the book to show
answers. Jason, we have answers for everything.
We got
you
this.
ask a question, we'll take care of it.
Yeah, it's me and Eric. We have your whole paranormal monster.
I thought we'd be at odds tonight, but we are
explanations.
Same page, friend.
Yeah, Josh is totally against us tonight, and he has stepped away
because he's such
from
a
the microphone.
Fan.
So Dracula blows up the treehouse. The mom hears it, and she's running around, and I think the dad shows up. But what I noticed in this scene is there are bags packed in the hallway.
Oh yeah, Mom's out.
She was leaving.
She was on her way out.
Wow.
The monsters have brought them back together.
Right, and certainly it hasn't solved any of their home problems.
No, none whatsoever.
It does magically save their marriage.
But another quote that we actually missed is when Dracula blows up that clubhouse. I love the line when he's walking away. Meeting adjourned.
So
he throws
cheesy.
that freaking and it blows it up. I was like, but it's the tone of his voice, the way he says it is like, oh, that's badass.
He does have like a gravitas to him that is commendable, considering he's dressed like he looks silly, like he's so his costume is silly, but he plays it so straight. It actually it's a good.
Well, it's silly, but it's the throwback to the whole Bela Lugosi style vampire Dracula.
We've discussed all the other monsters, and Jason brought up Dracula in the beginning, but I think Dracula is the weakest here. I mean, he leads things along, but I don't like the actor. I don't like the way he's playing it. That's my hot take, ladies and gentlemen.
No more hot takes.
No more hot takes for Josh. You had
what about when he unceremoniously kills the partner? That's hard.
Oh yeah,
dude.
I looked at Jenny and I was like, "Holy shit, they're really killing motherfuckers in this movie."
Dying.
That's what I'm saying. You were talking about there's not much adult. That's pretty adult. Watch the guy blow up in the car and burn to death.
Yeah, in the last 10 minutes of the movie, they decided to throw a whole bunch in here. You got Creature smashing a dude's head, Jason Voorhees style.
Yeah.
And then fucking Dracula annihilating all the cops that approach him. And there's one shot that's a little bit of a gag as he's walking up, but he grabs one of the cops by the head and he's got the hat on. And when he snaps like his neck, the hat falls off, and people thought that like he decapitated the cop. And Frank Decker was like, "Oh no, that's just a nice little visual thing that happened that looks that way, but no, that was not our intention to decapitate the cop."
This goes back to where Eric and you, or at least the two of you guys mentioned about the movie not holding up. Yes, they pull up in downtown, wherever town they are, which is basically backlot Universal Studios.
Yeah.
And it definitely looks like a set.
The library in there is in a bunch of movies. They talk about it in the commentary.
Well, did you notice when he looks up at the clock tower? Dude, I was like, is that the clock tower from Back to the Future?
It's not.
I know, but you look at it, you're like, whoa.
It's kind of reminiscent of the Gremlins.
Yeah.
Gremlins, yeah. I definitely got the Back to the Future feel. Like when you look at that set, it's set up very similar with the church in the middle of the town and everything.
And you got like a lightning storm and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Now,
and then you get the monsters all start showing up.
Well, no, here to piggyback on what you're talking about, it's not.
Fly-in?
No, it's not the neighborhood from Back to the Future. It is the neighborhood from Lethal Weapon. If you look when the car drives up into the house when Dracula blows up the treehouse, across the street is the house that's Murtaugh's house in Lethal Weapon.
Holy shit!
So there's another Shane Black connection. Yeah,
Shane Black likes people driving up onto lawns.
Dude, Shane Black likes people driving up on the lawns. He likes having kids intertwined with adult themed stuff.
He likes kids to cuss.
He likes Christmas. He likes kids to cuss.
He likes LA.
So you really start to pick up on what he's about early on, especially with this movie.
And then you get the fly-in of Dracula, the overhead. Yeah, that's kind of it doesn't hold up today's. Yeah, it's the whole like almost reminiscent of the Batwing from Batman flying.
Yeah, but that still looks awesome.
Yeah, that still looks awesome. But this is like okay, yeah, that really doesn't hold up. But it was cool in 1987.
Yeah.
So Horace is trying to get into a store. And the bullies are in the store and they won't let him in. And Creature is chasing him. And he's got a shotgun. The bullies say something, fat kid. I don't know what.
Good job, fat kid, or something. Yeah,
or go away or whatever. And he cocks the gun and says, "My name is Horace." And I just love it so much.
And if anything about them calling him fat kid throughout the movie and everything, it gives him that, and it gives you a cool moment with Horace to where it's like, okay, you've been making fun of him the whole movie, but everybody has a purpose. Everybody is meant to be a part of this in some way, and I like that they give him the glory a little bit.
They at least acknowledge the fact that he doesn't like being called that.
Right.
And you know what I mean?
He's had enough.
It's hurtful. So at least they do that, but they kind of play with the same. No. They play there too. So they kind of try to have it both ways, but it's nice that he gets his moment.
Yeah. And talking back to the Stan Winston effects. Yeah. I think it happens a little bit before the Horace moment, but when the bat's flying in and the dad shoots the flying bat, which is a great shot, obviously. Yeah. That when he's in the window and he goes upstairs and it's the half man, half bat. You're like,
creepy.
Whoa, that's so
creepy.
Yeah. Jenny was even like, "That's gross."
Yeah,
yeah.
It does. Like Stan Winston or whoever was working on that particular thing was just like, let's make this really, really nasty.
Like, let's Cronenberg this.
Yeah, he's a little man bat.
Big time.
And then Wolfman shows up, and Dad's fighting with Wolfman, and
so
they blow up Wolfman.
Well, they
kick him out of a window onto a bomb or with a bomb.
No, I think they shoved the dynamite in his pants.
Right, but earlier when they were talking about how to kill a Wolfman,
they reference it.
Yeah, they say, "What if you push him out a window onto a bomb?"
Yeah,
or something like that, and then they do push him, and it doesn't work. It doesn't kill him.
Can't kill him.
And again, great effects where.
Dude, that was great too.
He starts coming back together after being blown up.
Well, no, but before he blows up, you get the famous. You get another.
You're gonna need a bigger quote.
You get another quote, and it's Sean. He goes, "Hey, asshole, you looked." When he turns around,
I don't like that.
It's pretty bad.
That's lame.
I just figured I'd bring that up.
It's like an attempt at a great line. And
yeah, that one falls a little flat. But yeah, the Wolfman coming back together, I always thought that was so cool as a kid.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
But then I love when you've got Wolfman in the streets and the cops gun him down, and then finally Rudy gets the silver bullet and shoots. I love when they show Uncle Rico, and he said, "Thank you,
thank you."
Like you can tell, like he's glad that this is to be over with. I think that's
he actually brings in the little time he has out of costume, or I don't even know if he's the guy in the costume, but
no, it's a different.
He
guy.
brings a lot with what he does, and he's you feel bad for him.
And the actor's really he's only got like minimal screen time in the movie.
So I mean, he doesn't have a lot of time to do that, but he does a great job with it.
Because that's the whole thing with being werewolves. Generally, they're tormented.
Yeah,
right.
That they suffer. I mean, you think about how their body changes when they go from human to werewolf.
I think the gag with how do you kill a werewolf throughout the movie, they say silver bullet, and then they're just like bouncing around the other ways you can do it. I mean, love kills a werewolf, or love destroys a werewolf, but they bounce around that and they never really say it out loud. I don't know if that was the undertone they were going for there, but that's kind of what I get out of it, was the romance side of it.
Yeah, but a silver bullet usually seals the deal.
Do the job.
Now, this is a little off topic, but when did silver bullets cross over into vampire territory? It's a big thing in Blade, and
anything with silver and stuff like that, it hurts them. I don't know if it kills them, but it hurts them.
It kills them in Blade, but you know, that's not exactly.
Not in the Underworld movies, because they just use silver mainly against werewolves.
Right.
So.
Monsters hate religious stuff.
Yes, they do. They hate religious stuff.
That's their whole point of going to the church. That's good. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Which, they're going to town because there'll be a lot of people.
There's nobody.
At midnight.
Nobody.
Yeah. Who's is it got late mass going on here?
Yeah, it's not midnight mass,
And I don't. What are they like? They don't even really explain why there has to be a mass of people. I don't remember if that was something that was translated.
I think they just wanted to be safe.
Yeah,
they just
safer.
You're safer in numbers or something. But then we get the point where the sister they're actually going to do the whole spiel out of the book because everybody's showing up.
Yeah,
all the monsters.
Well, all this. I just want to say before we go too much further. When the parents finally come into it, when the dad comes into it, and all this, everyone's together. I started really thinking about Stranger Things.
Yeah.
The cop, the kids, the bad guys, everyone's separate, and then they come together at the end, in one big giant hullabaloo. Very Stranger Things.
Very.
That's all.
Kind of thing.
So so she's she's trying to read the German, not very well. The German guy's frustrated with her.
And then who saves the day? Eugene.
But Eugene
he does saves the day. Thank you.
Is she a virgin?
Is she a virgin?
A virgin?
They're all virgins.
Back to what Jenny said. But the funny thing is that Patrick's sister, points out, well, Steve didn't count.
He didn't count.
Steve
doesn't count.
It didn't count because it was anal.
Christ.
I am so sorry.
The shocker.
I'm sorry. I couldn't.
Jenny has got her hand over her face because Eric just went there. This just went XXX.
It doesn't count because women are taught to be ashamed of their sexual desires, while boys are meant to spread their seed and bang everything in sight. So she can't admit that she's not a virgin. So she has to lie about it, which could cause the end of the world.
You're right, Jenny. The idea that a woman isn't as valuable if she's not a virgin is absurd.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
We all concur with Jenny.
I'm with you on that.
This has been Feminist Corner with Jenny Lee.
Girl power.
You go, girl.
So we find out she's not a virgin. So Eugene promptly saves the day and says, "Is she a virgin?" They get Phoebe to read
say it right. What an idiot.
Eric, why do you hate 8-year-old children?
He hated his children when they were 8.
Just Eugene, man.
Just
brutal, dude.
Hey, we're sorry. If there's anybody by the name of Eugene listening to this, we apologize.
You're useless.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry,
All right.
you're useless. So
just kidding. JK.
This is where Dracula says the worst thing anyone says in this. Well, except for
he's pissed.
Homophobic stuff.
He just broke all those cops' necks, and he went to go get Phoebe.
Yeah, he holds up the little girl
By her face.
By her face. I can't even say it.
Yeah, I don't want to say it either, but he says,
"Give me the amulet, you bitch."
You bitch. Like fucking Ripley style, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, at this little girl, very unnecessary. Is there some like magic thing that she has to give it to him, or why can't he just grab the amulet and walk away? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Why
they don't make that clear. Jason, can you explain it?
Dracula. I thought he's Dracula. That's why.
I thought it just needed to be destroyed, because if it's destroyed, then evil can prevail, because it's used for good to be able to suck the evil into the portal.
Well, again, why didn't he just grab the amulet and not this poor girl's face and call her a bitch?
Yeah,
because
for dramatic effect.
Yeah, for a dramatic.
Because there wouldn't be a movie otherwise, Josh.
Because he's Dracula.
God. But and the cool thing about that part too is that when she screams, it's real.
Yeah.
Because they said that they had him do the red contacts and the nice Dracula teeth.
Oh, she was scared to
first
death.
time,
yeah.
and she thought she actually screams and for real, because it actually scared her. I was like, I would be too, because you go from the regular like Josh said, he's just so Dracula walk around, but that part with the red veiny eyes and the big teeth.
That point is the only point where I think Dracula looks good, is when they've got the red eyes
effective.
and the teeth.
Yeah,
and his teeth look great.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden you see like what's going on with Dracula. He just kind of stops and he kind of turns, and then we see Frank has got a hold of him.
Yep,
from behind. Frank saves the day. He's got to save his Phoebe.
Yep, Sloth comes in and saves the day.
And throws him onto a freaking metal spike at the church.
Definitely.
Which again, wooden stakes, not metal, people.
And Jenny almost negated the entire movie last night, because when the portal opens, or they finally get the portal open, like at that point, Frank has already thrown Dracula onto the metal stake or whatever, and Jenny was like, "Well, Frank's the only one left. Why do we have to open the portal? Because now Frank's gonna."
And then I was like, "Oh wait, that's why, because he comes back.
Because Dracula's not dead."
And the third bride is flying around in bat form.
She's actually going like, well, there's the dead one that's sliding next to them as they're sliding towards the portal.
Yeah. So I mean, they get the portal open. Phoebe's real good at German, and
better than the girl that takes high school German.
Exactly. Yeah. But she's.
I was going to make a really bad comment right there, and I'm glad I didn't.
Stop.
Me too.
So, portal's open, and Frank is being sucked into the portal.
It's E.T., man.
And Phoebe is saying, "No, don't go."
Bye, Phoebe.
And he gets Scraps, the stuffed dog.
Just throws him Scraps, yep.
Yeah. So he can hold on to Scraps floating in
limbo
for eternity.
With Van Helsing doing the complete Terminator fucking thumbs up on the way out.
Thumbs up Van Helsing.
Dude, that's Chuck Norris style, dude. Chuck Norris
from
thumbs
like
up.
How long, like hundreds of years ago?
100 years
ago.
100 years ago. Thumbs up.
And
thanks,
Jenny,
thanks, little girl.
I don't think Jenny remembered it was there, because when that happened, she laughed hysterically.
I did not remember that it was there. No.
Are we to assume that he spent 100 years literally just floating in limbo,
floating right on the edge of the doorway to limbo, so he could grab Dracula as soon as it opens up?
Yep.
As soon as it opens up, he grabs Dracula, throws a thumbs up, and then flies back into limbo again.
Yep.
He sacrificed himself for the good of humanity. Grabs Dracula, takes him in.
And then the army shows up after everything's said and done.
You know, in
and why did they show up, Jenny?
No, Eric. Why did the army show up?
Because they got a letter written in crayon that said, "Army guys,
help!
quick,
There's monsters
or something."
And who wrote that letter?
Eugene.
That's right.
Yes.
Monster
hold on,
was
before I
in
forget
my
this Austin
room.
Powers thing. You know when in Austin Powers when Dr. Evil's like, all right, everyone out, not you henchmen arbitrarily pressing buttons, not you, henchmen carrying wrench. In this end scene, when the army's just like running around, they're like, there's just like set, the camera pans back,
Yeah.
And the army guys are like, they're like carrying things. They're like running around. It is hysterical to watch just the people in the background just do.
And the commanding officer is doing his best. What's his name from 9 to 5? Dabney Coleman.
Yeah.
The Dabney
mustache
Coleman.
is working.
Definitely.
But
and who are you?
This is where the business cards.
This is where you have to have the business cards, man.
You gotta hand it to the army so they know who you are.
But
then you said it anyway.
We're the Monster Squad. Okay.
But
even that falls flat. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, it does. Because did you notice, like we're talking about the people running around, when they start to zoom out, and even the old man just takes the book and just throws it. Like, hey, the movie's over.
Movie's done, guys. We're out of here.
Wrap it up.
That's a wrap, folks.
Coffee and donuts for everybody. Cappuccinos. Let's go do some Coke in the back. Let's rock this.
Okay, so this was also when we had the terrible trend
rap?
of a rap song that tells the entire plot of the movie at the end of the movie. This song is awful, gentlemen.
This song is not just awful; it's offensive. It's an offensive. It's like,
and it reminds me of the song from Ghostbusters 2, the Bobby Brown song. It's like, and I remember I loved that when I was a kid. Like my mom went out and got me the single.
But at least that's Bobby Brown.
Yeah, we don't know who these guys are.
This is just like, what is this? What a disaster.
Do we know who did it?
No.
I didn't look it up. I just
we'll try to find it.
Here, this is exactly what I have in my notes. Rap song singing the movie plot. Bad, period.
It is bad. Even as a kid, I think I would usually just hit stop and start rewinding to watch it again.
So that brings us to the end of Monster Squad. Jenny, worth a rental?
Yes, worth a rental.
Jason, worth a rental?
Rent it all the time, especially right now. It's Halloween, people. Rent this damn movie.
Eric?
Yes, but know that it's not great. It's fun. You'll have fun with it, but you're not gonna enjoy it on too deep of a level. Particularly if you don't have the nostalgia for it.
This movie is
a lot of my
nostalgia
love of
through
this
and through.
movie is nostalgic stuff.
No,
So
it is.
And I will
also,
say,
I wouldn't show
classic.
it to an impressionable young person because there's some questionable business in there with the
Peeping Tom stuff and
the
homophobic
homophobia
stuff.
and stuff. Yeah.
Chicken shit.
Phoebe saying chicken shit is the cutest thing in the fucking
Yeah.
Guys, chicken shit.
But I would say it's worth a rental in like this time of the year for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a good Halloween movie.
It could be on 31 Nights of Halloween on whatever channel does that.
Watch it
It's
on
cute.
Netflix, Hulu, wherever you can get it. Definitely watch. It's a good one. Popcorn, scary movie, October.
We did eat
Definitely.
popcorn while we watched
We
it.
did. And we actually, this is one movie that we've, in our interactions with people on social media, have actually reached out to us and said, hey, the Monster Squad was awesome. Hey, can you do the Monster Squad? I've actually had that conversation with a few people on our social media. And, I don't want to alienate our audience by tearing this movie apart like we did, but this is all in good fun. I mean, I still have a very nostalgic heart on this movie. I am able to see the flaws in it now. But for this time of year, especially, like, it's a great little watch, especially if you're doing the spooky season movies and, our Friday Night Fright Fest that we're doing right now. It's a great little thing to go in there and watch and have some fun. But I'm not ready to say that this is a better movie than The Goonies by any means, or E.T.
Well, I'll go ahead and say it for all the Monster Squad fans out there. Yes, in my mind, it is still better than the Goonies. I don't care what you say. It's better than the Goonies for me because Wolfman's got nards and Frank is awesome. And I like Frank better than I do Sloth.
And you know what's funny is
I'm going to argue this fact over and over again.
Hey, respect, man, respect. Stick to your guns, buddy. Stick to your guns.
I mean, I can kind of get on the side of that. I think Frank has a little bit. Well, I was going to say I think Frank has a little bit more of a personality than Sloth does, but you're looking at apples and oranges. I mean, two different.
Yeah. Well, you're projecting stuff that with Frank that came from previous.
Yeah.
That character in other films is all being brought to this. So you know, just in this film, it's hard because it's a character that exists. But
so for you Monster Squad lovers. Jason here at the VHS Files, I got your back.
I'm
with you.
I can be on the side of it can be. You can like this movie more than the Goonies, but technically, this movie's not better than the Goonies.
No, certainly not in the grand scheme of things, quote unquote.
Yeah,
but yeah, you can definitely have your favorites.
And even as short as Monster Squad is at 82 minutes long, I feel like Goonies, even being a longer movie, has a better pace and there's more happening in the Goonies than the Monsters. Like, I found dull moments in this. Like, I feel like even though it's a fun little conversation and there's some smart things in it, the stuff with Scary German Guy was a little boring. Like, the lead up to some things was a bit boring in this watch.
Most of the stuff in the police station is kind of boring.
Well, the only
I love the partner, dude. This guy.
Yeah, anytime that dude's saying something, and I wish I would have pulled more clips from him, but anytime that guy says something in this movie other than, no, don't let me blow up in this car, is hilarious.
Well, that character feels like he walked out of Lethal Weapon into this movie, you know?
Well, that brings us to our next segment.
Almost Famous.
I know that dude.
I don't know them. I know her. Haven't you ever heard of that guy? What's his name? That guy who was in that movie that was out last year.
Almost Famous. The entire cast.
There are a ton. Oh, except for the kids.
The kids are unknowns, and I think they stayed that way.
For good reason, probably.
Most of the people were the monsters. They're the ones who are more well known, not for the monsters, but the actual actors who played them.
Yeah. Well, the very obscure one that I saw from the beginning of the movie was the pilot guy.
Yes.
This gentleman. I've seen him in multiple things in the 80s for sure. Like, you know, he was in Mean Streets. He was in Shawshank Redemption. He had a little part in Four Rooms. He was in Sopranos, Vice Versa, a Judge Reinhold, Fred Savage movie that I watched a bunch when I was a kid. That's what I mainly remember him from, is that movie.
I recognize the other pilot too. He did a ton of television in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him, but that guy was David Proval. And then you have Mary Ellen Trainor, which was the mom from the Goonies, Lethal Weapon psychiatrist. So she's been in all kinds of stuff. Jonathan Grise, Napoleon Dynamite, Uncle Rico.
Yeah, Tom Noonan.
That dude's been Tom Noonan definitely. But the John Grise, dude, that guy has had an insane career.
Dude,
I mean,
I loved him in Real Genius,
of course. Yeah, Men in Black, Real Genius. The Jeffersons, Jake and the Fat Man, Quantum Leap, L.A. Law,
Get Shorty,
Martin, The X-Files, Get Shorty, 90210, Seinfeld, ER, 24. Like, he's been in a million TV shows, like just a character actor that's had a long career. Wow. That's the guy that just sticks out to me, of a guy you just know his face, you know?
Well, the one I got, I think, is obscure, but he's actually probably one of the people who's actually done something, is Tom Woodruff Jr. He's the guy who plays the Gill Man. He actually plays Pumpkinhead in the Pumpkinhead movie.
Oh, he's an effects guy, right?
But he's an effects guy, and he actually won an Oscar for Death Becomes Her for his work, and he won an Oscar for that. So I was going to go with Tom Woodruff Jr. or Tom Noonan. So
Josh has never seen Death Becomes Her.
What? You haven't seen the movie?
If anybody could see Eric's face right now. Oh my god, dude! I've seen that movie.
What a loser!
I've never seen
it.
Yeah, me too.
How do I host a podcast about movies?
Don't know. Well, I was going to say, for my Almost Famous is Jason Hervey. I mean,
who the hell's that?
EJ from Wonder Years.
He's the bully. He's from Wonder Years. Like, you guys, I know you didn't watch it. Yeah, whatever. Wonder Years was huge. Huge.
Oh, dude, I'm still in love with, what's her name? Winnie
Cooper.
Winnie Cooper. Dude, I'm still in love with Winnie Cooper.
I loved her.
Josh has never seen one episode of The Wonder Years.
What? You haven't seen the movie?
What? This is a shame episode.
This is from
tough look.
And this is from our manager here at the VHS Files. The store manager doesn't.
I thought to do this show because I thought I had seen a lot of things.
Well, Jason Hervey was not only in this movie and The Wonder Years, he was in Back to the Future. He was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Back to the Future. I forgot.
Yeah, I forgot he was in that. Yeah.
So
that's coming up soon, by the way.
He's,
good job, Jenny.
One that I would see and say, hey, that guy.
Hey, that guy. I hate him.
Sure.
Okay, my almost famous is going to be the guy from Die Hard, Eugene's dad.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. Of course you would pick Eugene's dad. You love Eugene so much.
Make fist with your toes. And Tom Noonan's not a super well-known guy, but I mean, obviously you guys know him for more than I do.
Dude, he was the bad guy in RoboCop 2. He becomes the other Robo guy.
He's got such an unusual look to him.
Yeah.
He was the fireman axe guy, bad guy in Last Action Hero.
I definitely remember him being super creepy in Manhunter.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing I know him from other than this. So, and that brings us to our next segment.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
I'm going to start good, the bad, and the ugly this week. My good is Phoebe, Frankenstein, and Pete the dog.
What is this trend of people picking multiple goods?
They come in a package.
Make a decision.
It's a package deal, man.
I could have thrown Eugene in there, but I didn't.
It's a slippery slope.
You
didn't. You're right. I know why you didn't. So do you.
But I love Phoebe, and I love the relationship she has with Frankenstein. I mean, with the E.T. parallels, I mean, we're even getting with them in the treehouse. She's dressing Frankenstein up in the girly clothes and stuff.
Right.
But I love it, and I mean, Pete the dog is. I just every time Pete the dog is on screen, I'm smiling ear to ear.
I love when they all put their
any
hands
dog
in
in any movie,
and then he puts his paw in there.
Yeah, it's so adorable, so adorable. My bad is going to be the fat shaming stuff. Really sits in a bad spot with me. Like the fact that his own group of friends call him Fat Kid really bothers me. I love that he has his moment at the end, but that would be my bad about this movie. And the ugly is the homophobia. I mean, it's pretty prominent, especially through the first half of this movie, and it's very ugly nowadays. So that's my good, the bad, and the ugly. Who wants to go next?
Well, mine's kind of similar to yours, so I'll go. My good is Frank and Phoebe's relationship because it is pure and wholesome and wonderful and all the reasons that Josh just said. My bad is the Van Helsing thumbs up at the end. It's so bad. I mean,
That was good.
like he could have just grabbed him.
It comes out of nowhere and it's so
thumbs
out of
up,
place.
You know,
Why would Van Helsing have known to give the thumbs up?
He doesn't. That's why it's bad. And for the ugly, homophobia, fat phobia, sexism, it's the 80s trifecta of things that you should not do in life or represent in movies any longer.
Right. Eric, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go. For me, the good is the Stan Winston effects.
Yes.
Amazing.
The effects are, I mean, there's a couple things that aren't as strong as other things, but across the board, a lot of fun. It brings so much fun to this movie. If the effects weren't as good, I don't think that I would like this movie at the level that I do. So that's that.
If I were going to cheat, I would have picked that one as my third.
You already had 3. You picked the dog and goddamn everyone. Anyway, the bad, I'm going to say the kids are boring. The kids are boring kind of across the board for me. The little girl's cute and she's got a few great lines, but I know we don't want to compare that, or maybe we do want to compare this to Goonies, but thinking of that group of kids or the group of kids from E.T. as well, you have more personality, more chemistry, more humor of the kids together. I feel like a lot of the humor with the kids here, they don't have much to do. Eugene is worthless, and it's funny because I think their best stuff is in the beginning with the principal, where they're just like earnestly saying, "Oh, you don't know that," and they, we like to draw drawings. That stuff's kind of some of the strongest kids stuff. And I go, okay, and then as we go, I'm just like, well, they're just kind of standing around a lot of the time, unless they're being chased. So I don't know. Kids are boring. That's my bad.
To piggyback off of that real quick, Jason, you've seen Brain Scan, right?
Oh yeah.
Doesn't that scene at the beginning of Brain Scan remind you of the beginning, like with the teacher of this? Because they've got the horror club and stuff. It's almost like Brain Scan ripped off this movie.
Oh, maybe just a little bit.
So, I'm sorry, Eric, you're ugly. No, I mean you're ugly.
Very nice, Josh.
Oh, now we're ugly shaming people.
Jesus. I was going to say the homophobic stuff. Obviously, that's the worst, and we do understand that this was a different time and all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of movies that came out before this that don't do that, and I don't. The idea that this is supposed to be a movie for kids, and we have our like I said before, it's not even bad people saying this stuff. These are our leads in the first 10 minutes of the movie, casually throwing around things. So that's we've talked about that. Go ahead, Jason.
My good. Me and Eric are kind of on the same page there. The monsters, the effects of the monsters, just the overall old school, Universal, not Universal monsters that I grew up with as a kid. Still love them. The Wolfman, Dracula, all of them. Yeah, and we touched on it. Dracula is probably the weakest, I think, of all of them as far as just the overall look. But Stan Winston did a great job with what he could because, like you said, that with Universal having the copyrights and the licensing to that, he did a good job of creating his own version of the Universal monsters the best he could. And, of course, Stan Winston is still, even though he's not here anymore, he's still the best. I'm sorry.
Legend.
The legend for sure. But my bad, I will admit.
Is it Eugene?
No. A lot of the practical effects do not hold up to today. Like you said, the bat flying in, the whole backlot scene there, it's a backlot. It didn't even come close to looking like a downtown area. Some of the bats from Spirit Halloween stuff hanging up. Yeah, they don't hold up to this day, but it still made it for a fun watch when I was a kid. But yeah, as of today, that's my bad. My ugly, I think I'm the saddest because I've read this before is the fact, this movie had a $12 million budget and only made $3.8 million. And then I've read a lot on this and I agree. They said they feel like Monster Squad didn't get the love it needed because of the Goonies and Lost Boys, because it kind of fell in between. It wasn't young enough for the Goonies and it wasn't old enough for Lost Boys.
Well, I can tell you why. It's because those are better fucking movies.
But except for the Goonies. But
it didn't get the love it deserved because it wasn't good enough to get that love.
No, I think it did. I think, and like you said, it has a cult following nowadays, and you got people hitting us up on social media. Hey, dude, Monster Squad. And that's what my ugly is. It's just kind of bad that a movie that I thought was a great childhood movie just kind of got lost in between. Those are great movies. Goonies is a great movie. Lost Boys is, like I said, a top 3 vampire movie for me. So, yeah, it kind of got lost in the age group, I think. It was not old enough. It was not young enough. Yeah. And it kind of fell short there.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly don't want to judge a movie based on how much money it made.
No.
Because there's a lot of bad movies that made a lot of money.
Oh yeah, I mean, sure. I'm a big Nicholas Winding Refn fan, and that dude is a phenomenal filmmaker, and I don't know if any of his movies have turned a budget, but he makes gorgeous movies. So yeah, I mean, you definitely can't judge upon box office, especially nowadays. So
there you go, still great movie.
So we're gonna do another new segment for you guys tonight, but this is called "If You Liked This."
You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
You're gonna love this.
check it out.
Good, right?
Yeah.
So basically the idea here is if you like Monster Squad, you'll probably like one of these movies we're going to recommend. So mine is going to be the Jim Carrey classic Once Bitten. Has anybody seen Once Bitten?
Dude, she bit my buttons.
I've only seen parts of that on television.
I've only seen it like very minimal times, but what sticks with me about that movie is he's drinking the pig's blood from the meat department of the grocery store. Like that always left a bad visual. But I mean, it's the same goofy premise like this would be in this another 80s movie, and you can see Jim Carrey before he was Jim Carrey when he was almost famous. So, but that would be my pick for if you like this, you might like that. Jenny, do you have anything?
The Goonies.
If you like this, you'll love the Goonies.
You'll love it. Or E.T.
That's cheating.
E.T.'s good too.
That's cheating.
Jason,
We've
what do
already
you
done
got?
the Goonies. Well, just because, Eric's all about doing one, I'm going to give a 3-fer on this one. I'm going to say if you love Monster Squad,
You glutton.
I would recommend another great favorite of mine, Fright Night. Vampires, people teaming up to kill the vampires next door. And I'm talking about the original, not the remake, the original 80s.
I like
Fright
the
Night.
remake, though.
Yeah, it was.
The remake is actually good.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
It's all right to me. But it's too much CGI vampire to me.
We'll get to that on another episode.
Yeah. Also, kids fighting monsters, Stranger Things. We all are into that. And then a new one that I recently watched, Vampires versus the Bronx on Netflix.
I've heard good
Kids
things
fighting
about it.
vampires. It's a little bit of this mixed in, a little bit of that, little Lost Boys, little Monster Squad, little Goonies, all in the same movie.
Little Jackie Chan.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, check it out.
Eric,
All
what
right,
you got?
Well, I've got. If you like the creature effects in this, give Galaxy Quest a watch,
dude. Great.
Nice little
alien
right
creature
turn there,
effects, and also done by Stan Winston. Lots of great makeup work, and I prefer it to this movie. I think it's a better movie, and it's really funny. And if you haven't seen it, Galaxy Quest.
Alan Rickman's in it.
Alan Rickman. And Sigourney Weaver's cleavage.
That's right.
So yeah, if you like Monster Squad, give those movies a try. You'll probably enjoy them. And we're also going to do another new segment tonight, guys.
So many segments.
Segments.
Yeah.
Hey, do our segments have segments?
Our segments have segments now.
We're the human centipede.
Well, our producer just keeps throwing more and more stuff that we got to throw in here. So that guy's a fucking workhorse, man. I tell you,
fucking asshat.
He's a peen head.
A peen head.
That's a quote from this movie.
So, but we got to do a little house cleaning here. We got to restock the shelves. This is our little spot we like to call the return bin.
What did you do last night?
I guess I was probably returning videotapes.
The idea here is these are the movies we watched this week, guys, and we're going to talk about them a little bit. We watched them, we returned to them, we're done with them. This is what we have to say about them. So, all right, what do we got here? We got let's see here. #alive. Who watched that?
I watched that, Josh.
Well, Eric, tell me about it a little bit.
Well, it's a Korean zombie movie.
I'm actually very interested in watching this
on Netflix, and it's about a kid who basically gets caught in his apartment. His parents are out of town. He's I think he's like a teenager, like an old teenager,
Yeah.
And zombie outbreak hits, and he's basically the television and the government is saying stay in your home and wait. He's basically isolated in this apartment building. And I love Korean horror, and I love zombies, and I love single location films.
Yeah.
So this is and I love survival type stuff. So he has to, his resources start running out, and he has to deal with the isolation and being stuck, and, has to deal with the occasional zombie attack, and things escalate. And it's pretty good. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, Jenny and I just watched Train to Busan recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this looks like
then you'll love this.
It looks like it could be in the same universe. Like I thought it was the sequel to it, to be honest with you.
You could have told me it was in the same universe.
There is a sequel.
But they are. Yeah, there's a sequel coming out this year, I think. But yeah, Train to like Asian cinema, dude, or Korean. I don't know what the proper term is at this point, but those dudes make way better movies than we do. I'm so much more entertained
Korean
by what I've seen.
Cinema is so good. I mean, there's so many great examples lately. Obviously,
like they are not afraid to push the envelope and do shit that we are just afraid to do on screens here.
Yep.
So
well, they have a kind of a funny, kind of different sense of humor as well, which can be a little.
That's what's refreshing about their
like
stuff.
Once you get the sense of humor, because there is a little humor here and there in #Alive, but
I don't know if it's #Alive or it's just Alive. I've seen people do it, but both ways.
I think it's #Alive because he does some social media stuff.
I got you.
So
well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's. A lot of great Korean horror out there and Korean other things that aren't horror. But in this case, it was Korean horror, and it was good.
All right. What else we got here? Books of Blood. Who watched that?
I did.
Tell me about it.
Books of Blood is...
Briefly.
Yeah. It's no, I'm going to go heavy, long-winded here.
Give me a full review.
Full review, beginning to end. Okay. Let me crack my knuckles. No, Books of Blood is a Clive Barker movie based on his books. It is
so it's
on
not
Hulu.
just a clever name.
It's not just a clever name, and I just threw my mouse on the floor. And it's like an anthology movie. It's got multiple stories going on at one time throughout the whole movie. They do intertwine toward the end. You kind of figure out what's going on. It's if you like Clive Barker's older stuff like Hellraiser, because it's got a little bit of body horror type stuff in it. A little bit of demons and ghosts and stuff like that, especially for this time of year. It's spooky season for everybody. As Jenny says, spooky season.
Spooky.
I definitely would give this a watch, and it was very entertaining. I mean, I think it could have been a little scarier, maybe more Hellraiser-ish, but I definitely enjoyed the watch. But
cool.
Yeah, check it out. Books of Blood on Hulu.
Cool. All right, we got The Cure for Wellness.
I watched that one. Actually, we watched that one together.
Yeah, we did.
It was a rewatch. Basic premise.
Have we watched it since the theater?
No, this was the first time. Basic premise is that Dane DeHaan is a high-powered executive, and he is sent to Switzerland.
Yeah.
Switzerland? Yeah. To bring back another executive who has gone on a wellness retreat and has basically said he's not coming back. The first time I saw this, I liked it, but it's one of those movies that's very weird. So you're kind of trying to feel your way through it the entire movie, and you're not really sure about anything when you leave the theater. I enjoyed it much more on this rewatch. I found it super effective, and I can say I really like this movie. It's I picked up on a lot more themes and connections this time than I did the first time, which made it more enjoyable.
And I've heard good things about that one. I have not seen it, though. I'm not a big Dane DeHaan fan. That's why I was...
He is the weakest part of the movie, I would say, but he actually pulls it off in this one because he's a little slimy and he needs to be in this one, where sometimes he's supposed to be the lead and he is a little slimy and doesn't feel very much like he should be the lead of a movie he's in. But he works in this one pretty well, I think.
What was the one movie he was in where they had the superpowers?
Chronicle. That was
Chronicle.
decent.
Yeah.
I like that one. That's probably my good movie. Yeah, he's a horrible Green Goblin.
Yeah, we won't talk about him in the Spider-Man movies.
Good God Almighty!
So, all right, let's see if we can blow through the rest of these pretty quick here. Vampires versus the Bronx. Jason, you said you watched this, right?
Yes, another one, good, funny Halloween type movie. Kids fighting monsters. Very much, it's just a bunch of kids proud to be where they're from. They're from the Bronx. They love it. And then, of course, scary corporate vampires move into the neighborhood, buying up everything and trying to run everybody out. So It has all the cool little cliches of vampires in it. You know, like again, the kids Goonies cliches, Monster Squad type stuff in it. But it's a fun watch. I mean, it's not, you know, top tier anything, but it's just a fun watch, especially for the Halloween season.
The title reminds me of Attack the Block. I know, Eric, you've seen Attack the Block, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, well, I watched a movie called Blood Diner from the 80s. This movie was something else, I got to tell you. It's out there, man. I mean, it's worth watching just for the fact of all the shit that goes down in it, but it's bizarre as hell. But it's definitely 80s cheese. I just got on an old 80s cheese kick this week and decided to watch this, and it's bizarre, man. Like, I would love to watch this with a group of people and see how they comment on it as it goes out. But it's also got some very, you know, non-PC stuff in it. And I mean, it's a horror movie, so it probably doesn't have to have, but it was something else. Like, I would love to sit down and watch it with everybody. Like, if we could have a showing of this movie and watch it together, I would love to hear everybody comment on it. So, but I think that's going to do it for this episode of the VHS Files.
We did it.
We did it, guys.
Yay!
So next week, we're going to be talking Halloween, part 1 and 2.
Whoa!
Talking about Mr. Michael Myers next week. And
the boogeyman's here.
This one could potentially be a little bit of a longer episode because there's probably a lot to say here. A lot of opinions about Halloween, and it's a big part of my movie going, or the reason why I love movies. I think Jenny, even, you know, not being a big horror movie buff, has a lot of respect for the movie as it is. Jason's favorite movie. Eric, I think Eric would probably be the newcomer to this, so it's going to be interesting to have that conversation.
Well, I'm just glad we finally got to some John Carpenter.
Yeah. And we'll be talking about him a lot.
We need more John Carpenter.
Yeah.
In
there
this
will be more.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I'm a large John Carpenter fan.
But we're going to have our Halloween
not extra
for
large.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have Halloween for our Halloween episode.
Yeah, that episode, Halloween, will be dropping the day before Halloween, so you could listen to it on Halloween and make it a big special day. So
there you go.
But thank you so
Spooky
much.
time is here.
Thank you so much to everybody who's been listening and tuning in for our Friday night Fright Fest this month in October. We really appreciate it. We've had a lot of people interacting with us on social media, and we love that. Please give us a like and a subscribe and a review on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. And until next time, be kind, rewind. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Woo!
Bye.
It's over.
It's over. Get the fuck out.
You've been listening to the VHS Files podcast.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
If you like what you heard, please subscribe and drop us a rating and a review wherever you get your podcast.
It was fun.
Email us your comments, questions, and movie suggestions at the.vhsfiles@gmail.com.
I've seen one too many movies.
Follow us on Facebook at VHS Files Podcast.
Don't you blame the movies!
On Instagram at VHS.files.
Movies don't create psychos!
On Twitter at VHS_files.
Movies make psychos more creative!
And head over to our YouTube channel at the VHS Files Podcast for more content. Thanks for listening. Monster Squad requires monster energy.
Motherfucker, you better come up here with some whiskey dick action.
Oh,
I hate good music.
I have things to say about this movie.
I think we made him mad, dude. He just got up and left the microphone.